Hey y'all, I thought I would pop on again and go live, see what you guys are doing tonight. It is Monday morning for me, Sunday night for most of y'all. And I thought I'd come on and talk about what it's like here in rainy season. So that's going to be the main topic of discussion, and we'll get into that once a few people pop on. If you end up watching this later, go ahead and scroll forward, unless I edit it after. Anyway, going to be a little bit of a delay here until some people get on. Hope to talk to a few folks. Q&A is open, so you can ask your questions live, and of course, if you're watching it later, you can put your comments down below. While we're getting started, I do want to let you know that after some viewer feedback, I have decided to go ahead and start doing some consulting sessions. So if you'd like to have a phone call, schedule a time, 30 minutes, 60 minutes with me, and talk about life in Thailand or how you get ready for that, or anything you want to talk about, just shoot me an email. And the email is retiringtoasia@gmail.com. I'll also put that down in the description later. And you can shoot me an email and we'll arrange a time that works for both of us, and we'll set up a call. It can be a video call, audio call. We'll work it out. So going to start that, and we'll see how that goes. So go ahead, say hello in the chat if you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Again, today I plan to talk about rainy season and what it's like here in Thailand. I've left the doors open, the screen doors open, so you may hear some birds, you may hear some road noise. And from the looks of things, it's going from sunny to thundery here soon. So maybe we'll get some thunder and rain and let you feel rainy season a little bit. So hang in there. I'm going to grab a drink real quick and sip on some coffee while a couple others join. If you've got a question, put it in the chat. So rainy season in Thailand, like I mentioned a minute ago, I've got the doors to the house open. The screen doors are open. Forecast was storms this morning. No storms right now. One of the things that I have learned pretty quickly is that if it says, storms are coming, they can be really, really spotty. I've had a couple instances where on the back porch of the house, it's raining, and on the front porch, it's not. So no storms yet this morning. It's been pretty sunny this morning, but it is cooler. So people here say that there are really three seasons in Thailand. There's hot, really hot, and hot and wet. So the best season, at least for most of Thailand and down here in Central where I'm living, is like November to February, and the temperatures are great. The weather is cool. And every once in a while you'll get a little bit of rain, but not a whole lot. And then once we move out of that and move into March and April is traditionally the hottest season here. And that's the really hot, right? So it's pretty common in areas, Bangkok and a little further north, you'll get, heat indexes here. Once you factor in the humidity, they go through the roof. So it'll be 100, 104 degrees. And then with humidity factored in, it's 135, 140. So upper 30s in Celsius to mid 40s, 40, 42, 43, 45 degrees sometimes. Luckily this year that wasn't that bad, and we moved into the cooler rainy season pretty quickly. Right after Songkran, about a week later, we started getting some rain. And if you're familiar with like South Florida, you get humidity builds, and then in the afternoon some storms will kick off. It's kind of the same thing here. It doesn't really cool down much after that. It just makes it really humid after, and it stays hot. But the temperatures have dropped from April, so it's back down into, for the folks in the U.S., it's upper 80s, mid 90s, and then, with the humidity, the heat index is still 104, 109 some days. So it's low 30s Celsius to mid 30s. So it's much more comfortable. You can see the fan. That's all I've got going here, and then the breeze blowing through the house. So it's really nice weather. But it's early in the rainy season, so it's not like we're getting rain constantly. We're going to get some rain later today, past few days, it has rained in the morning, and then it has rained overnight, which is really nice if you have like tin roof awnings. If you like listening to rain on a tin roof, it's a nice kind of a white noise that drowns things out. But the storms can get pretty strong. We have a lot of strong wind, and we have a lot of thunder, which is strange because we don't get a lot of lightning with it. I don't get that. Sometimes we get a little bit, but it'll often get loud. A lot of thunder, heavy rain, and it comes in downpours. So it comes very quickly, and it'll dump a lot in a hurry. And one of the things that brings with it, if you watch news about Thailand or a lot of videos, you're going to see videos of flooded streets. And that's simply because it dumps so much rain so fast, and it's hard for that all to run off in any kind of normal amount of time. So up in Bangkok, main city streets are flooded. Here near Bang Sade, Route 3 or Sukhumvit Road coming down from Pattaya this way down towards Sattahip. As you come down a little hill to the red light where you would turn into Bang Sade, that typically floods when we have really bad rains. A lot of the mud and the dirt there's some fields right there will wash out over the highway, and it'll cover all 3 lanes sometimes. And they'll have to come with the heavy equipment and scoop all the mud out of the way. And usually by the afternoon, they've got the lanes back open. And it's kind of dried up, but flash flooding is a real problem all across Thailand. I just saw news the other day where some folks were exploring a national park. The loudspeakers came on and said, beware flash flooding coming. There's water headed this way, and many people had to be rescued. And a story probably 2 weeks ago now, again, some folks touring a cave in a park with a guide. And some flooding hit, and one of the tourists dropped their phone, and the guide went in the water to recover the phone for the tourist, and he didn't make it. So no phone's worth dying over. If you drop something in flooded water, and that's here or there or anywhere, don't go after it. Let it go. Property can be replaced, and there's no sense risking a life over an iPhone. Yeah, they're expensive, but a life's worth a whole lot more than that. But rainy season in Thailand. So you got to kind of work around that, right? I only have the motorbike. I don't have a car. So if I need to go to the store, I want to go somewhere, I want to go to the market, and it's raining, your choices are wait or get wet. The nice thing is it doesn't rain for, like I said, it doesn't rain for long periods of time. Sometimes we'll get, it'll rain 2-3 hours, but most of the time in an hour or so, the worst part is gone. So if I need to run out, get something to eat or whatever it is, run to the store, go pick up my laundry, I can go do that. And this time of year, I always carry a rain jacket in the seat of the bike. So, if you get wet, you get wet. It's just water. But riding in the rain, if you're not familiar, can be pretty uncomfortable. If you're driving 50 miles an hour and the rain is falling and the wind is blowing, kind of stings when it hits you. But it's not that bad. Hey, somebody type a message in the chat. Usually by now y'all are chit-chatting a little bit, but I'm not seeing any messages. Are y'all just being quiet, or is chat not working? Somebody type in chat that chat's working and you can actually hear me. I'm seeing the green light moving. It looks like I've got audio going out, but if I've been lip syncing this whole time, that would suck. All right, John Joe, thank you for the yo. It's working. Got it. All right, this is open Q&A for you guys too. If you don't want to hear me talk about Thailand weather for a while, then you drop what you want to talk about in the comments. I'm happy to answer pretty much any question and on most topics. So go ahead and put those in there. I don't want to limit it to just Thailand weather forecast. I'm open to anything. I really appreciate y'all joining. Got a lot going on as we're moving into, what is today here? May the 4th. Oh, I think it's the 5th here for me. Maybe it's the morning of the 5th for me, evening of the 4th for most of you. So may the 4th be with you. Next week, I'm headed back to the U.S. Well, not next week. Week after, I'm headed back to the U.S. the 14th. I think I'm getting old. My youngest is graduating from high school on Saturday, the 17th. So I'm going to fly home to Virginia on the 14th and go to his graduation and spend a couple days there, hang out with the kids, maybe go to an amusement park and see both of them for a little bit. And then I'm coming back, heading back. Interesting for me, this time I'm not flying Qatar Airways. I'm not flying back through Doha. I found really nice airfare that takes me from Bangkok all the way to Richmond, not just into Dulles up in DC and then a drive down, but flying all the way into Richmond for a decent price. And I'm flying through Germany, Frankfurt maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where in Germany I'm flying through. I know I've got an 11-hour flight, Bangkok to Germany, and then 11-hour layover somewhere in Germany, and then to Dulles, and then the quick hop down to Richmond. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting home and seeing the kids for a little bit. A little further down the road, my oldest is planning on coming back in January again. We're starting to make plans for that. Hopefully I can convince the younger one to come with them this time and come and visit, but we'll see how that goes. But there's all kinds of stuff going on here. Big changes coming for me. And if you've watched any of my shorts, maybe got a little sneak peek at that. I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to wait until that develops a little bit more. But a whole lot going on, and I'm really excited about it. Really happy with the way things are going. Tilt back so I can get the bifocals working here. Mavis, how long have I lived in Thailand? I'm coming up on 2 years. So my visa just renewed back in March, December 7th, December 6th, something like that. Will actually be 2 years for me. So a year and a half or so I've lived here. I've been in this house for a year now. May is a year for me. And I love it. Absolutely love it. I wish I'd come here a lot sooner, but life is life. And sometimes you don't learn until the end, or you're not able to make the move until later in life, but it's a fantastic life. It's super relaxing, and I wouldn't change it for the world. This is a great place for me to be. John, I just bought my ticket for a visit in January. I hope smoky season does not mess up my trip, my first trip to Thailand. January, you shouldn't have to worry about it. Smoky season is usually March and April, the burning season when the fields are being burned. But this year, it really wasn't that bad. Like I mentioned, we had some rain in there a little bit, and it didn't get super hot like it did last year. Last year was horrible hot. And I love hot. One of the reasons I moved to Thailand is because I never wanted to be cold again. But last year was insane hot. It was really hot, and it was really smoky. But January is one of the best times to be here. I love January and February. The weather is much cooler. North, south, everywhere, it's much cooler in February. So you shouldn't have to deal with too much smoke then, because there's not a lot of burning. But there's just general air pollution in Thailand. And if you're thinking of moving here, that's one of the main considerations. If you have breathing problems, Thailand may not be for you, not just in smoky season. It's definitely worse there, and it's worse in the north than it is down here in central. But we do get smoke down this way. If you think of Thailand, the north, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, sorry for the hands close to the camera, kind of makes a big funnel terrain-wise down to the river delta in Bangkok. So all the smoke and everything kind of funnels down that way, and the air quality in Bangkok can be really, really bad a lot of different times during the year. And then that kind of, depending on the winds, filters down this way as well. And it can be a problem, whether it's just air pollution or smoke from the burning. But January, you should be good. It's one of the best times to come. It is the peak tourist season, so prices can be a little bit higher. Queues for entertainment, if you're going to any of the parks or anything, or you're doing anything, there are going to be more crowds, so you've got that to deal with, but it's not that bad. We had a great tourist season, peak season this year. A lot of people here, even in Bangladesh, a lot of foreigners, a lot of tourists in town, more than I saw last year. So great for the businesses. But those folks are gone now, right? So they start to leave after February when it starts getting warm again. You get a little bit of a burst around Songkran in April, and then it's peak heat season, and everybody's gone. So it's back to quiet and slow now. First trip to Thailand, though, so you're gonna love it. I hope it's a long trip you got planned, and I hope you plan on seeing more than one place. There's so much to see and do here. Unless you're coming for like 3 weeks, a month, you're not even going to scratch the surface. So come back again and again. Mavis, did I get the DTV? Looking to visit Thailand, just returned from Panama, looking to travel more. No, I'm on a retirement visa. I did not get the DTV. I have a long-term visa here. Retirement is good for a year. I do a 90-day check-in online where I just go and fill out a form to immigration, tell them I'm living in the same place. Nothing's changed, hit submit, and I'm good. DTV is the Destination Thailand visa for anybody who's not familiar. It's good for 5 years, 180 days at a time. Can be renewed indefinitely. Every time you leave and come back, it starts your next 180-day clock. So it looks like a great option for a lot of people. There are a couple different ways you can qualify for that. So if you're looking for a long-term visa for Thailand, that's something to check into. Go online, check that out. Look at all the requirements for it, on all the different ways you can qualify. You can qualify by coming and taking cooking classes, Muay Thai classes. If you're an influencer and you can prove certain amounts of online income from your, digital work, or if you work remotely for a company, and you're still working full time, but if they let you work from Thailand, take that deal, and you can work here. But it's a great way to come and experience a much more relaxed atmosphere and a whole lot cheaper life, especially if you're comparing it, compared to anywhere in the West, but from the US, I almost compare everything to life back there and cost back there. Yeah, so retirement visa is a nice way to go if you're planning on coming and staying. Visas in general, long-term visas in general, have gotten a little bit harder to obtain right now. If you've watched any of the news about Thailand, there's been a big crackdown on fraudulent activity, fraud call centers, money laundering and stuff going on in the country. And one of the ways that they've tried to crack down on that and restrict things is through bank accounts, right? So I come from a background in financial crimes investigations and working in banks after a career in law enforcement. And Thailand has taken the position that, hey, we're going to go after the money, and they see patterns in how these accounts are being used fraudulently. So they've made it very, very difficult to get a bank account now if you're not Thai. It used to be, you could go to a visa agent and they could take you to the bank, and boom, for a small fee, you had a bank account and you were gone. And you could do that if you were just here on the, 30 or 60-day entry stamp from the airport, just on a short-term visit. You can't do that anymore. Many of the agents still cannot open accounts. I'm starting to see some ads coming back now from visa agents online saying that they can open accounts. But I'm hearing from many of you who are trying to get those long-term visas, and to get a long-term visa here, to get a retirement visa here, you have to have a bank account. But to get a bank account, you have to have a long-term visa here. So it's kind of like a circle of death there. Makes it really, really difficult. And that's one of the reasons people maybe pick other locations other than Thailand to retire, is the visa process here and the banking process here can be a little bit cumbersome compared to other destinations. So something to think about. One of the ways people, I think, are getting through that process a little more easily is applying for a 90-day visa through the embassy or the consulate where you are. Coming here with that 90-day visa makes it a little bit easier to open an account and start the process for the retirement visa, as opposed to coming here as a tourist, getting that 90 days here, and then getting your retirement visa after. So my understanding is that makes it a little bit easier. But that's something you're going to have to check into, because there are lots of variations on, depending on where you're coming from, how you're coming, and by how you're coming, I mean what visa you're applying for, that kind of thing. But anyway, long way to answer your question. Sorry about that, but some big changes going on here around visas and bank accounts. Hopefully that will die down and it will get a little bit easier. But it's been a few months now, and for a lot of folks, it's a pain in the butt. Let's see. Open to questions. If y'all got any more, I really appreciate those. Makes for great topics, because if you're thinking about it, chances are other folks are thinking about it. And like I said, I'm not locked into just talking about the weather here. When I do my lives, I like to have a particular topic just to fill in the gaps to talk about. It's kind of hard to talk about the weather all the time. So y'all help me out. I mentioned before, most of you jumped on, I think, that I got a lot of requests in the past for folks wanting to have a call with me and sit down and talk about, hey, I'm thinking about moving. I'm thinking about coming. What should I do? Where should I go? All the questions that you might have. And maybe you haven't watched, maybe you haven't watched the playlist of videos that are out there that I've got on, how I went through this and all the things that I've gone through, or, maybe you'd rather just talk about it. So I've started doing that. And if you're interested in having a call with me, I'd love to talk with you. Doing 30 or 60-minute calls, just shoot me an email. It's retiringtoasia@gmail.com. let me know where you are, give me some of your availability and what you'd like to talk about. And I'll get you the details on how we can set up those calls. And they can be voice calls or they can be video calls. Doesn't matter to me. You guys get to see me all the time. I never get to see you unless some of you, ping me when you're in town and say, hey, you want to grab a coffee? And I'm happy to do that too. If you find yourself in the area, shoot me an email and see if I'm around. I'm happy to run up to Pattaya, or if I happen to be near Bangkok or whatever. Anyway, if you're in town, let me know. I do meetups. I love to chit chat with folks. It's a great way for me to get out of the house if it's not raining and go see some folks. Yeah, Mavis, you're welcome. What else you guys thinking about? So it looks like the sun is coming back out here, which is gonna drive the humidity up, but it will definitely rain later. Now I mentioned it rains, kind of in short bursts, but a lot at a time. So it's not fun to get caught out on the bike. So you just have to do a little bit more planning. And I also mentioned, I like the weather on my phone said it was going to rain this morning, and so far it hasn't. But if I was going to run down to SafetyWing on the motorbike to go to Big C, and that's 10-15 minute ride, it's not that far. But it's not uncommon to get a couple miles down the road and have to get under one of the walkways and let the rain pass, because like I said, it can be raining here and not raining there, or not raining here and raining there. And it does seem that a lot of times I'm a kilometer from the beach, half a mile from the beach. We don't get as much rain here as they do on the other side of Sukhumvit Road, which is like 1 kilometer the opposite direction for me. So as the air moves inland, for whatever reason, I'm not a meteorologist. Anyway, on that side of the road, it rains more than it does down here. But we definitely get more rain down here than they get up in Pattaya. And I'm about 25 minutes by motorbike to Jomtien, so 35 minutes to central Pattaya, depending on traffic and all. And it's an easy ride. But we get a lot more rain down here than they get up there, because I know many times hey, you want to come up and meet up? And like, no, I'm not going anywhere, man. It's raining here. Like, it's sunny here. It's great. The weather's awesome. Come on up. So it's just kind of hit or miss. I don't let it ruin my day. I just, change my schedule up. Luckily, there's rarely anything that I have to do on any given day, that can't wait one more day. Or a few hours until I go out and get it. But I don't like to ride in the rain. I don't like to ride in the dark either. It's traffic here is rough. And if you're not used to riding motorcycles or motorbikes, this is not the place to learn. But definitely in the rain, the roads are more slippery. People can't see. You've got all that road spray. And like I mentioned earlier, getting pelted by rain at 80 kilometers an hour and 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. It's not comfortable. So I try to avoid riding in the rain. Robert, no, I'm not quite to Rayong. I'm in Bangsar, SafetyWing. So I'm between Jomtien and Rayong, just down the road, straight down Sukhumvit Road. Great quiet little fishing town. I love a quiet, boring life. And as you can hear, I mentioned earlier, the doors to the house are open. I've just got this fan going behind me. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Every once in a while, you can hear, motorbike go down the street or something. There are lots of birds chirping, that kind of thing. So it's nice and quiet here, and it's one of the reasons why I moved down here. There's not a lot of traffic. It's a nice, basically one road through the main town, takes you right down to the beach. Nice, quiet little fishing town. Big pier out there, lots of seafood restaurants. A lot of the boats, if you've been to Pattaya, Jomtien, and you see the squid boats and stuff out at night, their port is down here in Bangsar. So really nice, quiet little town, and I love it here. I've been here just over a year now in this little villa. Raptors, thanks for joining. Let's see, I'm planning on staying 6 months in Canada, 6 months in Jomtien. Could I find a nice 2-bedroom condo? 25,000 bought in high season. Yeah, so a lot of people ask that question, right? Can I get a nice place for this price? And everybody's definition of nice is different. 25,000 baht is a good budget for a 2-bedroom condo in high season. Yeah, you should be able to do that. the one suggestion I would make is if you can come early in the season or at the end of the low season, you'll get better prices. Sometimes you'll see prices around like end of September into mid-October. They will start to go up. Right now they're down because there's just no people here, and it's it's just supply and demand at play. So you should be able to get a 2-bedroom condo for $25,000 in high season. Now, I would say, manage your expectations. If you want the finest of everything and 2-bedroom and big square footage, maybe not. So just be aware you might have to shop around a little bit, and you almost get better prices if you look at the older buildings. So it really depends on your taste, but shop around. You should be easy to find something that you would like for 25,000 baht, unless you like the best of everything. And then sorry, and then you might have to change your budget a little bit, or change like I said, the age of the building that you're looking at. Terry, I always watch your videos. I commented about 10 feet tall and bulletproof the other day. Didn't know George Strait song you mentioned. George Strait fan. Yeah, so a couple people actually commented. I made the comment about a George Strait song talking about, if you think you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. I got the lyrics wrong. 10 feet tall and bulletproof is a Travis Tritt song from like late 1990s. George Strait said something, when you think you're tall and bulletproof. He didn't say 10 feet tall, and you step outside and anyway, there's a George Strait song, and it's Every Little Honky Tonk Bar. Came out after Travis Tritt, so I don't know if that was like an acknowledgement back to his song or what. I've heard the Travis Tritt song, but was never really a big fan of his. But I'm a huge George Strait fan. So anyway, thanks for watching that video. Not many people did, but yeah, and thanks for the comments. Always appreciate it. Does Rayong get even more rain than me? I don't know. I've ridden down to Rayong, so perfect example of the rain, probably this time last year, and it wasn't raining at my house, and it's sitting around like, well, I'll take a motorbike ride, right? So I'm going to go ride to the back road and down to Rayong, make a big circle, come back up Sukhumvit. Beautiful day here, not raining here. I get to the back road on the other side of 3. I want to say I don't even know what it is, but it's back on the other side of the new toll road and stuff. It's the way you can get down there, kind of a highway, but not real busy like Sukhumvit. And I got soaked, and there were wrecks everywhere on the road. To the point where I got off the road and just pulled into a little hardware store and sat on their steps for a while to let the rain pass. I don't know. I don't know if it rains down more in Rayong than even more than here in Bang Sade. Anybody living down that way or spent time down that way and drop them in the comments and let Robert know. Like I said, I've only been here coming up on 2 years, so I don't have a whole lot of experience in many places. First few months I lived in Jomtien, and then I left my lease at Eris condo early to come down here for a 2-bedroom villa in Bang Sade, and it's been a great move. Yeah, so Robert responded to Raptors there about the budget, 25,000 in high season. Again, there are places in the older buildings where that's certainly doable. But like I mentioned, if you want, on the beach, new condo, 2-bedroom, probably not, right? You probably, for a 2-bedroom, you probably need to be thinking in the 30s, because a lot of times the studios in the new places are going to run 20, 25. So just by way of reference, I mentioned I stayed at Eris condo when I first moved here, and that's right on Jomtien Beach. Great location, loved it. I was paying 17,000 for a 1-bedroom, 41 square meter unit. So a little bit of frame of reference there, but I booked it in September, right? I signed my lease in September, and my unit in peak season was 2021. But Eris is one of the newer, nicer buildings there in Jomtien. It's not the most expensive. It's not the cheapest. So again, the further away you move from the beach, the cheaper it is. And then the older the building, the cheaper it is too. So look around. Anyway, your definition of luxury is going to drive the answer, yes or no, there for you. My wife and I are looking to come to Bangladesh in 2027. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't put that off. Come now, because when you get here in 2027, go, damn, I wish I'd have come here. I mean, darn, I wish I'd have come here sooner. If you're looking for a nice, quiet place, off the beaten path, but it's definitely growing. There's a lot of stuff being built here. There's new houses going up. There's new condos going up. It's definitely growing. Just in the year that I've been here, it's changed a good bit. But yeah, come on. John, how much do I pay for my place now a month? I have, so I live in a very tiny little neighborhood. It used to be like a resort hotel. There are 6, 8 little villas in here, little houses. And then there's one strip that you think like a little motel type thing. They don't use it for motel anymore. Everything here is long-term rentals. So I have a 2-bedroom villa, 1 bathroom. I have no idea how big it is, but it's a great size for me. You're looking at my whole living room here. My bedroom is right up here. There's a second bedroom behind this, pointing backwards, this wall here. And then that light right there is coming from the bathroom where the door is open back there. So it's great. I've got a big covered porch patio out front. My kitchen is behind me here. It's outside. I have to go outside to go into it, but it's all walled in, glassed in. So it's not an outdoor kitchen, but it's detached from the house. And I've got a big patio off of my bedroom too. So I've got my gardens growing on both of those patios. I just renewed my lease and I'm paying, I think I paid $12,150 a month. And that includes my water. So we've got a neighborhood pool. So for the 6, 8 houses, they're here. We share a nice pool out there. Usually I'm the only one at it. For a time, there was another guy from North Carolina living in one of the other villas, and he and I would hang out there. That was where we'd go to work, right? Office time was pool time. We would work on our tans. That's the only work we did, and hang out. He's since moved. He moved across to Sukhumvit to another little villa over there. But I've got a great villa here, and I don't know what $12,150 comes to. It's 300 and something a month US dollars. It's not much. So it's really nice, really cheap here. Yeah, Robert, good clarification. 6-month leases are more than year leases. I forgot that he did say 6 months. So, best thing is just check around and see what you can get. I can't say for sure. It really depends on your taste, but see what you get. Terry says he's big George Strait fans as well, have many of his CDs. I used to have many of the CDs, but when I sold everything and moved, most of my CDs, I think, went to Goodwill. My kids really, for some reason, didn't have the same taste in music as me. My oldest has gotten into records, though, so he did take my vinyl, but not all of them. How far from the beach to my villa? Takes me about 5 minutes, 7 minutes on the motorbike to get there. It's about 1 kilometer. I ride straight down the road along the edge of the Navy base here and around the corner, and I'm there. It's not that far. You could bike it. You could walk it if you wanted to walk. It's just depends on how much you want to walk. There are a couple shorter ways to get there, but it's just a few minutes. Bike ride, motorbike ride. Okay. Waiting on the wife to retire in 27. Yeah, John. And the further away, his comment was less than $400 for a 2-bedroom. That's good. Yeah. The further away you get from the cities, the cheaper it's going to be. And if you go to the further away you get from the beach in the cities, the cheaper it's going to be. So as you move away from the beach or as you move away from the city, it's going to get cheaper, whatever direction you go. So getting down this way, like I said, it's very, very quiet. There are a couple condo developments here in town. There aren't a whole lot of foreigners here. There were in peak season, but they're all gone now. So now it's just folks like me who live here all the time. It's gotten a lot quieter, but it's definitely cheaper down here than it was up there. Like I said, I was paying $17 for a 1-bedroom condo, and I'm paying $12,100 including water down here. So It's really nice, super affordable, and even the food in the markets and in the stores down here is a little bit cheaper than you get up there. Things I can go to the market here and for 20, 25, at the high end 40 baht, get a cooked meal in the night market. Whereas up in Jomtien, even at like the Jomtien big market there close to Aris, you're going to start at about 50. And that's an average price, right? 50, 60 baht for a meal. A lot of times down here, you can go to a restaurant and they're going to start at 50 baht. If you want the fried egg on top, it's 60 baht for a big old plate of food. So it's a little bit cheaper, kind of all the way around down here. Navy base has some nice beaches. Yeah. So the Naval Recruit Training Center is literally right across the street from me here. And a lot of times, like when they're out running PT and stuff with the recruits or the folks that are there in training, I can hear them calling cadences while they're running, and I can hear, I don't know if it's demo ranges or gun ranges, or I can obviously hear small arms ranges when they're getting some target practice in there. But it's very, very quiet. And Saikiao Beach is very nice. It's open to the public. You just go in through the main gate, stop on the left, give an ID. They give you yellow piece of paper that's been laminated, drive down the main road. You can go to the golf course there. It's open to the public just on the right across from the main gate if you're into golf. Super cheap. I don't remember the prices. I stopped in and checked once for a friend of mine down in Hua Hin who was coming up or was asking. I don't play golf, so I don't remember what the prices were. Anyway, drive on into Saikiao, and when you get actually back to the training area, like the living area, you have to show that little yellow pass. You go down to the beach and hang a left, and before you go over the mountain, you've got to pay 100 baht to go in. But then you're at a beautiful beach. The water's super clean. There are great little restaurants there. So plenty of places to eat, great quiet beach to hang out, nice water to be in. Some monkeys, if you want to see monkeys, they are there. Yeah, Saikiao's nice. I've done a couple of videos over there, and I've gone a couple times just to hang out. It's a really pretty place. And even the food vendors there, the restaurants, are not expensive. Let's see who that is, in case it's one of the kids. It's Koi. Let's see. Navy base, nice. Yes, living in Jomtien, but currently back in Oz for a holiday. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going home, week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm going to head home for a quick week at home. I'm not looking forward to the expense of it, but I am looking forward to seeing the kids. I haven't seen my youngest since Christmas. My oldest was here January, February with me, came and spent like 6 weeks. It was great. So it'll be good to go home and watch I was going to say the little one. He's taller than me and 18 now, but the youngest one, going to go see him graduate from high school. So looking forward to that, hang out with some friends for a little bit, and then coming right back. I think I spend almost as much time flying as I will on the ground in America. So really the only thing I miss from home is the kids. So it's nice, but it is nice to go home for the holidays once in a while. John, let's see. Would it be worth to visit Ko Chang when I visit, or is it like Koh Samui, which I go? So Ko Chang versus Samui. I've never been to either, but I can tell you from what I've heard and what I've seen in other videos, you're kind of like apples and oranges there. Do your own research, make your own decision, guys. If anybody wants to chime in with some advice on the differences there, they're both on my list of places to go. I just, I keep saying I want to travel more. I need to do more, but for some reason I keep finding excuses not to. And Ko Chang is just a couple hours from here. Samui is a flight away. I've got plans here to go to both, but I haven't made it to either. Yeah, so, and to Ko Chang, so depending on which one you're talking about. Samui, from my understanding, is a little more on the expensive side, right? It's a little limited. The access is limited because the airport is owned by Bangkok Airways. So if you want to fly in, you're going to fly Bangkok Airways, and they control the prices. There is a ferry, I understand, to get there. So that's a little bit cheaper. But I don't know, look into it. Come back and Let me know which one you preferred. Go to both. Take the time. Go see both for a couple of days. There you go. You got some good feedback coming in the comments there about some comparisons. What else you guys thinking about? All right, Terry's heading out for the evening. I know it's getting late for a lot of you there. Thanks for joining. Thanks for all the comments. I appreciate all of you joining, and happy to talk about anything you want to talk about. The sun is still out here. It's continuing to be a nice little day. So I bet when it gets to be lunchtime and I'm thinking about where I'm going to go to eat, then the rain will come. That's the way it'll go. But we'll see. That's where, if you watch one of my other videos about ordering food here in Thailand and how cheap that is, a lot of times I'll order 2 dishes, especially in rainy season. I don't like to order delivery when it's raining and put the delivery drivers on the road and out in that mess. I know I don't like driving in it. I don't want to put them into it. So if I get a good feeling that it's going to rain later, a lot of times I'll order at lunch, or I'll go and buy and bring takeaway home and keep something in the refrigerator so that if it's raining the next morning, or if it's raining tonight around dinner time, I've got something in there. Kind of pretty much always got fruit and that kind of stuff, and always keep a couple packs of ramen in the kitchen just in case. So you got options. Rick, how much money did you amass before officially retiring, and how? So that's one of the questions I won't answer with a definitive answer. What I will say is everybody's definition of enough is different. So for me, as Thai people say, I'm pretty low-so. I don't need a lot. A lot of people say I'm minimalist. I would say I'm leaning that way and have for a long time. But it doesn't take a lot for me to be happy. I don't need a lot. I don't need new things. I don't need a lot of things. I don't watch a lot of TV. It's just the way I am. So I think a better way to answer that, instead of X number of dollars is what I have, is, you plan for your retirement. I live, and I've made many videos about it, my monthly budget here in Thailand and my regular expenses here are very frequently less than $1,000 a month, and significantly less, sometimes in the $700-800 range. So for me, it doesn't take a lot. For other folks, they couldn't live the way I live and be happy. But I'm perfectly content with what I have. And that's why everybody's number is different. It's based on your lifestyle and the lifestyle you want to maintain when you retire, and obviously it's based on where you retire to. If you're coming here to Thailand, even here, depending on where you live, the prices are different. We were talking just a couple minutes ago about the difference in rental prices here in Bang Sare, where I am now, versus Pattaya and Jam Tien, where I was a year ago. And that's different than Phuket, which is more expensive, or Bangkok or Chiang Mai. All of those are different. So really it depends on your lifestyle. Giving a generic non-answer isn't too helpful. So also along the lines of how I live very minimally around some things, I just don't talk about, right? So I'm not going to tell you how much I made in my salary in banking. The one thing I will tell you is when I started in police work at the police department in Chesterfield after I left U.S. Customs, my first year's salary as a police officer was $24,628. 10, 15 years later, when I got into banking, my first bonus at the first bank I worked at was more than my first salary at the police department. So I made good money, but what I have to live on and how much I made and how much I have in the bank isn't for anybody else to know other than me and my kids. So I live comfortably here. I'm living off of those savings now until I am eligible to pull from my 401k. And I'm living off the dividends in my cash brokerage account. So I'm only 58 now. Next year at 59 and a half, I can hit those 401k funds up if I need them. I'll have access to those dividends that are paid out there. So sorry, you're not happy with that answer. I hope you get over it. But I don't use 4% rule. I don't. People talk about that. People talk about it's a great number. People talk about, it's not enough or it's too much. Really, the only answer can come from you guys and your budgets. So, it doesn't take much to live here if you want to live the way I live. But again, if you want to have a bigger budget and live the high life here and eat out at fancy restaurants and drink bottles of wine or bottles of whiskey or whatever, you can do that. Hey, you do you. Whatever makes you happy. Did you sell all the property you lived in the U.S. before going to Thailand? Yeah, I did. I sold everything. When I moved to Thailand, I moved here with 2 suitcases and a duffel bag. And that's it. I dumped everything. I gave my cars to my kids. I had a 1,500 square foot 2-bedroom condo outside of Richmond, Virginia, and I sold that. And I sold a lot of stuff online, things I had collected. I sold all my furniture. I got rid of everything, and if it didn't fit in those 2 suitcases, I didn't bring it. And honestly, I brought a lot of stuff I didn't need. Stuff like jeans and clothes that are still they haven't been worn in almost 2 years here. I need to do some thinning out again of just crap that I still got tucked away that I don't need and I don't use. I rent. Do you rent or own in Thailand? I rent in Thailand. It's very difficult for a foreign person to own property here in Thailand, except for condo. So a foreigner can own a condo outright here in Thailand. The condo buildings have to reserve 51% of the condo units for Thai people. So they refer to Thai quota, foreign quota, or business quota when you're in a condo, and they have to reserve 51% for Thai people, and 49% are in foreign quota. So if you can go and find a condo that you like and you want to buy it, and it's in foreign quota, you can buy that condo outright, no problem. For me, right now, renting is best for me. And like I said, when I came here, I was thinking, maybe Patia's not right. I don't want to buy anything. Maybe I'll move somewhere else. But I'm renting this great little villa for $300 and some bucks a month. So if you buy, you got to maintain. If you're in a condo, things that kept me from buying a condo or would keep me from buying a condo many times would be like special assessments. If you think about, something drastic happens like hurricane, the earthquake in Bangkok. If you own a Bangkok condo as a foreigner or anyway, if you own a Bangkok condo and it was damaged by the earthquake, those are your repairs, right? And if the elevators are damaged or if the building is damaged and there's major stuff that has to be done to repair, watch out for special assessments, right? So for me, I kind of shy away from owning condos just for reasons like that. If something goes wrong and there's a big hit to a special assessment or something, and it's an unplanned expense for you. Especially folks planning on, coming on limited budget for retirement and all, that can be a killer. But if you're renting, well, then it's on the owner, right? So you've got some other options there, a little more flexibility. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the scrolling here. Hey, y'all don't start fussing in the comments, all right? We play nice here, or we don't play at all. So you have zero taxation to the USA ties? No, that's not accurate at all. I am a U.S. citizen. I do maintain an address in the U.S. and I do have U.S. tax liability because I have income in the U.S. Right. So this income here on YouTube is income for me. Whatever's generated here, I still sell stock video, stock photography, and my investments are in the U.S. They're in U.S. brokerage accounts. So capital gains are taxable. Dividend income is taxable. So I do have tax liability still, or tax responsibility still in the U.S. And thankfully, as I come into this next year, it will decrease because my income is decreasing, right? So when I actually moved to Thailand, I was on separation from my work. And so I got a separation package, and they actually paid me for several months while I was already living here. So last year's taxes kind of hurt, but it was nice to have that full U.S. income while I was already living in Thailand. If you like imported wine and cigars and Western food, they have a huge condo. It's not a cheap place. Yeah, there's actually, it's gotten a little bit better because the taxes used to be, I think it was like 100% tax on wine and stuff brought into the country. So if you're into that kind of thing, it's gotten a little bit cheaper around that. But yeah, I mean, the more you want, the more it costs, folks. It's that way everywhere. It might be less here than it is there, but for some things, it's not cheap at all. And imported alcohol and that kind of stuff is still one of the areas where, you know, if you're into drinking that or living that lifestyle, you can expect to pay for that because it's not cheap for imported spirits here. What's my opinion on self-insuring in Thailand? Gosh, y'all might not like the answer either, but that's up to you. I have health insurance now. It costs me about $100 a month. Health insurance in Thailand, you know, like everywhere, can get expensive, but you still have options like everywhere. Well, like everywhere else where you've got private healthcare, right? So if you're paying for insurance where you are, if you're coming from one of those areas with socialized medicine, that kind of stuff, you don't have to worry about it. That's one thing. But coming from the U.S., healthcare was horrendous. You know, I would pay $300, $400 out of every paycheck for healthcare there, or for health insurance there. And here I pay a little over $100 a month. But you get to choose things like, you know, your deductible. Does it cover inpatient only, or does it cover outpatient? So you can select from the menu of choices there that will help dictate the price of that. And it can get very expensive as you get older. So I know a lot of folks, as they get higher in age group here, many people do tend to give up on the health insurance if they're on an extremely limited budget and go with a self-insured route. I've got a couple videos, look in the playlist, that I've done where I've actually been to the hospital twice since I've been here. The healthcare is amazing. The quality of the healthcare is great. The service is great. And the prices are super cheap. So you can go check those out if you want some more details on why I was there and what it costs. Those are outlined in both of those videos, or in a couple videos there. But my opinion on self-insured is you have to assess that for yourself and decide whether you want to set that money aside because, you know, bad things happen. I mentioned riding on motorbikes, right? If you get in a bad crash here, or you run into an unexpected, you know, healthcare situation where you've got some large expenses, you know, treatments here can get expensive too, especially if you're on a fixed budget. So you just have to determine what's right for you in your life and go with that. So what made me choose Thailand as a retirement destination? Started thinking about retiring abroad after seeing YouTube videos like yours for the past 2 years. I still have 5 or 6 to go. Yeah. So you think. Go to my main playlist and go to the very first videos I started creating a little over a year ago when I started this channel. And I talked about my 2-year plan before I would retire, and how I was going to go and look at what my top 10 countries were that I was going to look at. And my original plan was I was going to retire next month after my youngest graduated and that kind of stuff, and everything went away. I've been here almost 2 years now already. So plans change, get ready for that, sometimes for the better. But I had done a lot of travel in the past. I'd narrowed my list down to 10 places I was really considering for retirement. And I was starting to travel to those places. And my original plan was in the next 2 years, or through June of this year, I was going to go to all 10 of those places and, you know, go and stay, and not go like a vacation or a holiday trip, go like I was living there and dive into things like, you know, what does it cost for this? What does it cost for that? I went to Portugal. I went to Malta. I had been to Nicaragua many times. So I detail that in those videos. And then I came to Thailand and immediately fell in love with this place. You know, driving from Bangkok down here to Pattaya, where I was staying the first time, So I don't want to get too far off track, but I speak English and Spanish pretty well. And I spent a lot of time in Nicaragua, and I really thought originally, like, I'm probably going to end up somewhere in Central America. Somebody mentioned going to Panama, that kind of thing. That was on the list, just because I was very comfortable speaking Spanish, very comfortable speaking English, obviously, in those places, with the culture, and was aware of the cost of living and that kind of stuff. And then I came here, and like I said, on that drive, I was like, wow, this kind of looks like Nicaragua, So I was immediately very relaxed, very comfortable. But it's cheaper here. The people are amazing. The Thai people are one of the main reasons why I chose Thailand over anywhere else. And then the safety, right? So if you compare, crime rates in Central America, pick a country, Nicaragua, Honduras, Mexico, whatever, and compare those to Thailand, it's much safer here. It's safe to be alone. I've never felt threatened or worried about safety anywhere here. And that's not like I walk around oblivious to what's going on around me, right? Like I said, I've got a law enforcement background, so I'm constantly scanning. My kids used to say, "Dad's in cop mode." But I don't worry about it. You travel smart, you be safe. But that's some of the main reasons why I chose Thailand, right? And watch those videos and you can see what all my criteria were for selecting those countries and where I was thinking about. Plans change. You say you got a 2-year plan now. Come back in 2 years and let me know where you are. See if you're still there. I hope you're not. I hope you get to retire early like I did, because it's fantastic. Why would I maintain U.S. tax liability living full-time in Thailand? I don't have a choice. I think I already explained that already. Maybe you asked that before I explained it. But if I am a U.S. citizen and I earn income, most of the time it's going to be taxable in the U.S. Now, there are exceptions to that, and there's no need to get into all of those. And I've already explained why I have tax liability. And that's one of, a lot of people are going to fuss about the uncertainty of the tax situation here in Thailand and whether or not I have a tax liability here or even a responsibility to report. And I don't want to get into that because I don't want to give legal advice and I don't want to give tax advice. We'll just wrap that one up with saying, I'm not happy about paying taxes in the U.S. because I don't live there. I don't use their services anymore. I've already paid into Social Security. So when the time comes when I get that back, that's already my money I put in there. It's not coming out of any of y'all's pockets or anybody else's pockets. So other than that, I don't really have, other than my 2 kids, there's no reason for me to go home. There's nothing for me in America anymore. I'd much rather pay taxes in Thailand where I'm using the services, enjoying living in the country, than I would in the U.S. But that's just not the case. So that's just life. Sometimes we got to do things we don't like. It's a shame Vietnam doesn't have a retirement visa. You can stay there as long as you want if you don't mind every 90-day border runs, which I think would get old very fast. I don't even remember now if Vietnam was on my top 10 list or not, but it's one of the places I want to visit. I know a lot of people right now are advocating for moving there from Thailand, leaving Thailand and moving to Vietnam, saying it's cheaper, saying the whole visa situation is easier. I don't have any knowledge of that. I don't have any knowledge of that. I haven't even visited the place. I want to go over to Da Nang and Hoi An and see, take some pictures, make some videos, hang out a little bit, see what it's like. I don't think I have a desire to move there, but I wouldn't mind traveling there. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all have more experience in that or want to talk about that more. I just don't have any experience to talk about it. So, that's just me. I don't have anything. If I can't tell you firsthand, I'm not going to guess at it. Let me see. Did I miss any questions up in here? We got off on taxes there for a while. Yeah. So talking about traveling to Thailand, or not traveling to Thailand, traveling to Vietnam from Thailand, and then tying back into the original theme, the gap filling theme of weather here. One of the things that I do have planned are at times in the rainy season here, it's not the rainy season. Like for instance, when it's rainy season here, it's not rainy season in Bali. So living in Thailand, you have access to all of Southeast Asia very quickly, very cheaply, and easily. So with a quick run to Bangkok for me, I can get I can get to Bali. The flight is just a couple hours, and usually the airfare is only a couple $100. Like oftentimes $200, less than $300, pretty much to go anywhere in Asia round trip. So if I wanted to escape the rainy season, and you're on a DTV where you've got 6-month visa, or you're on a retirement visa, just go and travel. You can go and see. And even within Thailand, it's a huge country, and that's one of the other reasons why I chose it over some of the others I was considering. Rainy season and hot season varies a little bit north to south. So you can even change location in Thailand if you want to kind of change the weather a little bit. So that you've got some flexibility there, and Vietnam is the same way, right? So when they're getting hit with typhoons and it's monsoon season there, not so much here. Very rarely that water comes across and we'll get some rain from it. But you can move around easily within Southeast Asia, still stay in that super cheap retirement, super affordable retirement zone, get to experience different countries and different cultures. And that was one of the big draws for me of Thailand was, you've got Suvarnabhumi and Don Mueang Airport, and you can get anywhere in the world, but anywhere in Asia, super cheap, pretty much at the drop of a hat. I was just looking the other day at flights to Vietnam, even flights to northern Thailand. So right now, rainy season, Chiang Rai gets a lot of rain, but you can catch a flight there for under $30 from Bangkok. It's super affordable. Once you get here, the cost of everything goes down a whole lot. Don't you have to renew your Thai visa every year? Yeah, so annual renewals are really no big deal. A 1-year visa, and like I mentioned earlier, I have to do 90-day check-ins. Your first one is in person. Doesn't take long at all. You just go in, give them the form. After that, it's online. I log into the Thai immigration website, actually my 90-day report is due before I go home. Thanks for reminding me. So I've got to log into the website. I basically put in the same address I'm at. Has anything changed? You click a couple boxes and you hit submit. You get an email back, says, hey, we've received it. And usually the next day I get, yeah, okay, you're approved, no problem. So you do your 90-day check-in, but every 1-year renewal is really not that big a deal. There are some longer term options, right? There's the LTR visa, and there's used to be the elite visa. Now it's the privilege visa that's 5, 10, or 20. And basically there you're just paying up front instead of keeping money in a bank account here for your retirement visa. And those tend to be kind of expensive, but it's really not that big of a deal to do a 1-year renewal on a visa here. What would be the best visa for me, spending only half the time in Thailand? It depends. If you can come right now, I think it's 93 countries get 60 days on entry. And there's a lot of chatter out there about Thailand's going to roll that back to 30 days. A couple months ago, it was just 30 days if you came. Then they expanded it to 60 days. And there was an announcement coming out that they were starting May 1st. They were going to cut that. And it was going to go back to 30 days. That didn't happen. It's still 60 days now. You can come for 60 days, and then you can go to immigration, and for, it's 1,000 baht, 1,500 baht, you can get a 30-day extension. So you're here for 90. And then if you want to leave and come back, leave the country and come back, make a border run, go see Vietnam, fly to Singapore for a couple of days, go see someplace else, and you come back, get another 60-day stamp, and you can extend for another 30 days. Then you've been here 6 months and you've seen a little bit of Southeast Asia. So you don't really even need a long-term visa if you're just going to come back and forth, if you're just going to float in and out. Come on. We talked about the DTV earlier. It's a 5-year visa, good for 180 days at a time. If you qualify for that and that's the way you want to work, hey, that works too. So you really have to figure it out for your own situation. Education visa, you want to come and study Thai or study cooking or whatever, those are 90 days at a time. Up to a year. So you could do that, but you do have to renew after that first 90 days. But again, it's a simple renewal process, especially if you're using an agent. Best visa for you, spending half your time in Thailand and you're 50 years old. See if you qualify for the DTV or the options we just talked about. You've got options. It doesn't require a long-term visa to come here and stay like that. Darren M. doing some advertising for me. Hit that like button, share the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you've subscribed, check to make sure you still are. Please also hit the bell to set notifications. I don't know if he's advertising my channel or his, but do those things for me too. I guess cops tend to get a good pension, so that's why you were able to retire at 58A. That's a very young retirement. I did not retire from law enforcement. I do not have a pension. Everything that I have is self-funded. I've taken, when I was at Customs, I was an inspector and we weren't in a covered position back then. That was many, many years ago, like in the 80s. So I don't have a pension. I'm living off my investments, off of things that I've socked away, and I don't qualify for Social Security yet. But it's not hard to retire early here, if you've got a good budget. It doesn't take a whole lot. My neighbor has a motorcycle. He likes loud pipes. Not a fan. Anyway, just a little road noise because I've got the doors open. It's a beautiful day here now. Yeah, Rick, I don't know why I don't. Jai yen yen, man. Okay. Why are you picking on me? I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't answer a question earlier about how much exactly I have in the bank. Relax, and if y'all are getting triggered by anything I'm saying on my videos, just go watch another video. It's okay. You can log out. I don't mind. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. I promise. I don't judge you, so don't judge me. And one of the things about my channel and one of the things about moving to Thailand was I prohibit negativity in my life. So if things get too negative, I just block people. I just delete comments. There's no need for that. And that's one of the things about the West that I was so happy to leave behind. Man, that stress, that hate, that anger that's out there. And I'm not just talking about the US. Everywhere, Thailand, we say yak yak, right? Everybody wants to yak yak. Take it somewhere else. It doesn't belong here. No, I'm too calm for that now. That's not the way I used to be, but we don't do that anymore. Chill, relax, guys. Yeah, I mean, you talk about retiring at a young age. Jump in the military at 17. Get your 20 and get out. You're 37 years old and you're drawing a military retirement. I mean, you got to work for your life, right? You set your own course in life, folks. Nothing is easy. You want to retire early? Work for it. Either find some place that gives you 20-year retirement, start early and stick it out for 20 years, which is rare these days. One, that people stay in the same job for 20 days. And pensions have gone the way of the past, right? So very few places have fixed pensions in the U.S. anymore, but chill out. So did I invest in the S&P 500? I've got some ETFs. I've done videos on my investments. I've done videos on the dividends and how I make enough on dividends and what I'm invested in and how much I have in those to pay for my lifestyle now. Go watch those. Maybe you'll get some ideas. I don't give financial advice here. I don't give investment advice. I talk about things that I've done. I do talk about some holdings there. I do talk about sometimes how much I've got invested in there. And maybe you can do some quick math and figure out what I've got invested in and how much I'm worth if that's killing you. But go watch those videos if you want to see what I'm invested in and what I'm getting dividends. Yeah, just so nobody fusses, I've got a nice chunk of Verizon stock. I've got a nice chunk of Altria stock for good, blue chip stocks. I'm probably a little too heavily weighted in Nvidia for things that have gone on now. And I've owned Apple stock for years. So they've gotten kicked in the butt lately. But I'm still up in them because I think my cost basis in Apple is like $60, $40 or something because I've owned them for so long. And investing is the same way, right? You gotta figure things out. You gotta invest in what's right for you, and hopefully it works out and you make some good investments. I was very big into finance and investing in my youth. When I was in high school, all I wanted to do was get into finance. I wanted to be a stockbroker. By the time I was in my senior year in college, my last semester in college, I already had my Series 7. So I was already technically a registered broker. I had my 7, my 63. First job out of college was a broker. So I've got a good background in finance. My degree is in accounting. And then I went into work in police work and got into fraud and money laundering and that kind of stuff. So the two kind of tied together with financial crimes, white collar crime stuff. But, you know, you're in charge of your own destiny. You can't blame anybody else. You can't depend on anybody else. You got to do it for yourself. I'm a big proponent of, you know, get out there and work. You know, I'm Gen X, so raised on hose water and mama's switches. So get out there and get it done for yourself. You can do it. And they don't need to be ugly to other people when you're doing it. Let that go. And wanted to introduce you, or thank you for introducing my new home. I was watching your video, my Airbnb Riviera, when you reviewed the condo, which I now live. Hey, good to see you again, and glad you're in town. Hope you're enjoying it. Shoot me an email, and I like to go to Culture Cafe there, right out in front of Riviera Jomtien. So if you want to grab breakfast or a coffee and talk about your time in Thailand, shoot me an email. Let me know. Happy to meet up. Darren, he's just modding on a lot of channels. Thanks. I appreciate the promo there. I definitely appreciate y'all watching and subscribing and hanging in there with me. Being in law enforcement, he said plenty of negativity in his life. Yeah, you know, it goes with the job. Nobody calls you when they're happy. You only see the negativity in life. But I will tell you, it's the best job I ever had. I really, really enjoyed it. The coworkers, the work, you know, 99% boredom for 1% excitement. But I wouldn't do it again for the world right now. You couldn't put me back in that job for anything. And, you know, I know a lot of guys that are still in it. A lot of guys are getting ready to retire from it. And, man, I appreciate them. But I couldn't do it anymore. Subjective question, all depends on budget and lifestyle. What is a realistic budget to work with for a couple? Yeah, you hit it on the nail, and we kind of touched that on it earlier when somebody was asking about a 2-bedroom apartment for $25,000 in high season. It depends on your lifestyle. It depends on the location here. It really a couple could easily live in, you know, villas where I am. Actually, I think I'm the only single guy in here. But everybody else has at least 2 people in their villa, and I'm in the 350s. Y'all figure it out. 12,150 baht. What is the current exchange rate? Which is terrible right now. Whatever that comes to, 300 some bucks a month. So it doesn't take much, but it really depends on how you want to live, where you want to live, and your budget, right? So your taste and your budget is going to drive everything. 2,000 per month to be safe. You're able to do it for less. Couple is what most suggest at a minimum. You could probably live comfortably on 2,000, 2 people. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like I said, I'm under $1,000 regularly monthly, and we just got good news. The Thai government announced that they're actually going to drop the electricity rates for peak season now that kind of into the hot season and stuff, and they're actually going to drop rates as we move into rainy season and out of the hottest time. But hey, who does that, right? When's the last time your electric bill went down? My electric bill here, and I only run the AC at night most of the time, my electric bill here is usually under 1,000 baht a month. A lot of times it's a lot less than that. When my son was here, like I said, he was here for 6 weeks, and when we were home, we ran the air 24/7 in the house, 2 bedrooms at night while we were sleeping. And I think the highest bill was like 1,400 baht, so $40. So it's even if you want to run the air here all the time, I've got folks that I know that live here that run the air constantly, even when they're not home, and they're paying 2,000 baht a month, so $60 a month. So it really depends on your comfort level. I'm happy right now with just this fan running and the doors open. Let me look and see what the temperature is outside. Tell y'all. It's 89 Fahrenheit. So what is that Celsius? 30, 29, 30, something like that. Nice little breeze blowing through, and I'm comfortable with just a fan. But I like it to be warm. It's not hot by any means. I'm not sweating or anything. That's just me. A lot of times I'm not sweating, and Goy and I are out somewhere, and she's sweating. So it just heat tolerance is everything. I love warm weather. It's one of the reasons why I chose to live here. Have I ever ride up? Oh, sorry, reading too quick. Got to get the bifocals. Have I ever met up with Ride for Kicks? He was also in law enforcement. No, I haven't met him. Actually, I'm trying to think. I've only met one other YouTuber here in person, and that was, I think it was kind of before he started his channel or was just getting going, had just moved here. I've never really met up with the other guys now. I've traded messages with several and have made plans, but they just never connected. It's one of those things where I have nothing to do, no plans, but it's like, hey, you want to do something? Oh, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be there. There's always something getting in the way of schedules, but no, I haven't met up with him, but I do watch his channel once in a while. Darren, rate drop. Yeah, electric rates are going down. It was nice to hear. They probably go back up in a few months, but either way, to get some relief, especially for the Thai folks. Prices are going up everywhere. Inflation is everywhere. Thailand is not, exempt from inflation. They've had inflation for all but I think 2 of the last 20 years. They actually had 2 years of deflation. But it's not increasing as rapidly as it is many other places. But, when you think they just raised the minimum wage here in Thailand 6 months ago or so for tourism related jobs. I think it went up to 450 baht a day. So that's roughly $15 a day, folks. And for non-tourism industry, I think it's still down around 350, 400 baht a day. So yeah, reduced electric rates go a long way, but by our standards, electricity is not expensive here. By Thai standards, it can be a big bill. Greenie Travels. No, I haven't met up with Greenie. Met him too. I just saw his video the other day that he was in Bangkok now and doing a condo tour. He was in Bang Sare for a while. He was in down the Jom Tien area, Rayong, and has moved up there apparently. Yeah, I just saw that the other day, but no, haven't met up with him. What else you guys want to talk about? It's been an hour. I like getting on here. I like chit chatting. As long as you guys are engaged, I'll keep going because I got no plans today. It's Monday morning. I'll talk as long as y'all want to talk. So, just by way of recap, if you just joined in, we've talked about the weather, moving into rainy season. We've talked about cost of living here. We've talked about insurance. We've talked to folks living here now that have moved here. I've talked to some of you watching who are thinking about coming here to visit, or part-time stays or long-time stays. And I'll mention again, if you want to have a phone call with me about moving here, staying here, living here, retiringtoasia@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know where you are, what times work for you, and we'll try to work out the time zones differences and schedule differences if you're still working and that kind of stuff. Figure out when we can have a call, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever. I'm happy to do that. If you're here in Thailand visiting, if you're here in Thailand living, love to meet up. Don't mind doing that at all. And, I was doing podcasts for a while where I was doing expat interviews. You can actually see one of the podcast mics, this backwards camera thing over there. Anyway, I was doing podcast interviews with expats more when I lived up in Jom Tien and was around more because down here I'm not around a whole lot of people. But if you're interested in letting me talk to you about why you're thinking about moving to Thailand, why you're moving to Thailand, if you're here visiting and you're considering it, I'd love to get some interviews going. Makes great content because the things you are thinking about, the things you're worried about, your situation, there's a lot of other people out there like you. Not everybody's like me. So I like to get different points of views. It's a great way for me to meet people, but it's also a great way to help other folks out. And that's one of the reasons why I started this channel was I wanted to, like, the things that I was going through when I was planning, I knew what I was having to figure out, and I wanted to kind of pass that on. But it's also been a great way for me to meet people and make friends. I've met people here who've watched the channel and, we're still in contact. And it's a great way to meet other folks. So if you're thinking of coming here, start a YouTube channel. I've mentioned this before. I think I did a video on it about starting YouTube. Should you start one? Absolutely. When I started one, I couldn't find any videos on, I'm planning on moving. This is what I'm planning. So I thought I was in a great niche or niche there for 2 years, right? Because I had my 2-year retirement plan. And then that fell apart and I'm here already. And the whole videos have switched to, okay, I'm here now. What's it like? So if you're thinking of coming and you're on a multi-year plan to get here, you should start a YouTube channel. Definitely start a YouTube channel because people want to know. get yourself established, build your base. And it's an easy transition once you get here to different kind of content about, hey, I made the move. What's it like doing what I'm doing now? And it's a nice little stream of income once you get monetized and you're making videos like these. I think I make like $3, $4 for every 1,000 views. But hey, $100, $200 a month off of one day a week or something making YouTubes. That's $100 a month is a third of my rent. It's pretty much half of my grocery bill for the month. It goes a long way, and it's a good way for you to meet people because people like to talk and meet up. And one of the things that a lot of people struggle with here is boredom and isolation, especially if you're coming as a single person. A lot of people end up moving back because they get bored, because they get lonely. And YouTube is one of the ways that you guys help me not fall into that. I don't get lonely when we're chit-chatting here. I don't get lonely when we're out meeting up. But again, I'm kind of a reserved. I think personal life was called that because it's personal. So some things I don't answer, but I'm pretty open about a lot of other things. And I don't mind meeting up if it's, grab a cup of coffee, grab lunch, whatever. I'm not one to go hang out in bars. So if you're like, hey, I'm hanging out on Soy 6, why don't you come up? Not going to happen for two reasons. One, it's just not my scene. And I don't want to ride at night. So that's like 35 minutes away from me to get to Central Pattaya at night. That ain't happening either. So, but yeah, if you're thinking about coming, start a YouTube, get your Instagram going, get your TikTok going, whatever it is. I've got several other videos about creating streams of passive income that I've created that pay me, that cause me to have to pay those U.S. taxes we were talking about earlier, because they're U.S. based businesses. But they're paying a good portion of my monthly expenses here. I need more coffee. I'm starting to blah, blah, blah. What's my favorite meal in my area? So good question and great qualification. Different parts of Thailand have different traditional dishes. And I'll come back to your question. Like up in Chiang Mai, and Chiang Mai is gorgeous. I really liked it up there at Chiang Mai and Pai when I made that visit during smoky season last year. You can go watch those videos and see what the air is like in April in the north, where it can be the worst. But when I'm in north, if I'm in Chiang Mai, khao soi. I loved khao soi when I was there. The chicken khao soi, it's like a soupy, brothy, eat any time of the day, but it's like the meal. Or one of the main dishes in that area. So delicious. If you go into eSIM or northeastern Thailand, I haven't been, but there's a lot of different, you can find eSIM restaurants, eSIM food pretty much everywhere. A lot of different food styles there. It tends to be spicier. I've eaten some of it down here, but haven't been into eSIM to eat it. I don't know that I've landed on a favorite dish in the eSIM world. If you're down south, obviously you're going to get a ton of seafood, and I love seafood. Like I mentioned earlier, Bangsadeh is a little fishing town, so we have a lot of fresh seafood here. Seafood market, fresh seafood all along the main street and in the markets at night. So I love some fresh fish. I love seafood, squid a lot. My favorite food in Thailand is mugop, crispy pork. So crispy pork belly in anything. If it's got mugop in the name, I'm going to eat it. So like Chinese kale with crispy pork, stir-fried rice, crispy pork pad kapow, crispy pork anything. But that's probably not one of the healthiest things I could be eating. So a lot of times I'll swap it out for chicken. But I love spicy food. I can eat really, really spicy food. And if that's something you're worried about coming to Thailand, you can get it as spicy as you want. You can get it as weak as you want. If you don't want spice, just tell them you don't want spice. You're not going to get it. My oldest son, I keep mentioning, he came and visited. He does not like spicy food. Like he doesn't even like black pepper, and he's fine. He loved the food here. He fell in love with chicken stir-fried rice, or I'm trying to translate it in my head now because now I kind of think in Thai a little bit. But yeah, crispy pork anything is my favorite food. Rate Bangsadeh versus Jomtien, or what are the good things and bad things, or the positives and negatives when comparing the two? Yeah, I kind of got into that a little bit earlier, but we can dive back into it. I lived in Jomtien at first. I'm down here now. I'm a very quiet person. Like I mentioned, it doesn't take a lot for me to be happy. I love quiet. Bangsadeh is much quieter. When I chose Jomtien because I didn't want the busy and I didn't want the noise and the crowd of Central Pattaya. I stayed there for a couple of days when I first came, and I was kind of shopping around the area. And I was as far south in Jomtien as you can get. Eris is down at Jomtien, Soy 17. And Soy 19 Jomtien is when it changes to Na Jomtien. And so I got as far down the road as I could get to the quiet end of the street. And 20th floor in the building. So it was nice and quiet. I really liked my condo there. I was walking a lot more, super convenient to everything. So Jomtien, let's talk about good things there. You're closer to the city. You're closer to many more markets. You've got the bot buses running for cheap transportation anywhere up and down, Beach Road, take you into Pattaya, take you all the way up to Naklua, anywhere you want to go. The flip side of that is traffic. Even riding the motorbike around up there, it's really crowded. So obviously that makes it more dangerous. And a lot of times you're just stuck in traffic. So Jomtien, you're closer to more. You've got more options for everything. Options for places to get your hair cut, options for places to eat. You've got the beach right there in front of you, but you don't have to live at the beach. I was at the coffee shop the other day talking to the man that owns it just around the corner here, and talking about some of my future plans and how, living at the beach, I'm a kilometer from the beach maybe. And I haven't been there since my son was here in January. But when I first moved to Thailand, I was like, I want to be at the beach, right? And one of the reasons I chose Eris was I had a beach view condo. I wanted to be able to see the water. Man, I haven't seen it in months now. So it's getting less and less important to me. Bangsaday is very quiet. You need transportation if you're here. A lot of people get around on bicycles. So push bikes, pedal bikes, whatever you call them where you're from, bicycle. Most of the condos have them. If you're in a condo here, you can sign them out, check them out, ride to the market, ride to the beach, do whatever you're going to do, ride to the store. A lot of them have baskets on the front, bring your groceries home. I don't walk as much as I used to. I mentioned that I kind of live on the outskirts of Bangsaday. I don't live in the downtown area. It's not that far. It's a couple blocks away. But for me, I could walk to the beach. I could walk to the market. It's not as close as if you're walking in Jomtien or hopping on a bus. So I find myself, I just hop on the motorbike more. So I'm not getting the exercise I used to get, but it's city living versus more rural living. I'm not country living by any means, but definitely away from the hustle and bustle. Do you have a favorite place in Thailand to visit away from where I currently live? You may have several, which is great. Just curious if you have a number one or two place to check. I really like Krabi down south, right? So it's not as, it's small town, kind of southern Thailand, but it's still very touristy. It's not as busy touristy as Phuket. I don't shy away from saying I'm not a fan of Phuket. Phuket's very spread out. Got to cross the mountains to do anything. Very small roads, very congested, and much more expensive than up here for just eating out, for rentals, whatever. Still certainly super affordable. I've done videos on both of those places, going both of those places. I take Krabi over Phuket anytime. I mentioned I haven't been to Samui. It's supposed to be very nice, but also supposed to be a little bit more expensive. I've been to Chiang Mai. I've been to Pai. And I mentioned in burning season last year, loved both of those. It's just a completely different feeling. Pai is great, small town, laid back vibe. But I was there not in tourist season. I was there in April, so everybody had left. It was not crowded at all, and it gets completely different during peak season when there's a lot of younger folks in there, a lot of partying and stuff going on. But I loved Pai in the off season. And Chiang Mai at the same time. Chiang Mai just had a completely different feel to it. Stayed in the old part of town, which made it, for me, super walkable. Great little areas to get around, a lot to see. And then you've got a lot of temples and things to explore. I think Chiang Mai has more than 2,000 temples in the city. So if you like to go and visit, like I did a sunrise tour up at Doi Suthep, and then a couple other temples on the way down the mountain. It was a great tour, great experience. And then recently started visiting Nakhon Nayok up near Khao Yai, which is a huge national park here in Thailand. If you watch some of the videos, it'll pop up of like elephants, wrecking cars and tossing over motorbikes and stuff. The wild elephants in the park, sometimes they don't like cars. I saw a video the other day pickup truck with a guy in the back, and they stopped in the road because the elephant was crossing, and the elephant was curious, and it just scooped the guy out of the back of the truck and threw him out. But there's so much diversity here in Thailand when it comes to landscape. Again, it's because it's so big. It's one of the reasons I chose it. You've got beach, you've got mountains, and you've got jungle and everything in between. The only thing we don't really have here is desert. So you can go to those places, like I said a little bit ago, $30 right now to fly to Chiang Mai from Bangkok and pretty much anywhere in the country, just because it's off season. Prices are way down. So if you want to go to the beach, you can go to the beach. If you're like, hey, I'm bored, I want to go down to Phuket, I want to go to Krabi, go hop a plane, and you're there, $30, $20, $50. And it's easy to get around here. I don't think I've really got a favorite area yet. Right now I'm still in that mode of I enjoy seeing everything. I just like driving down the road and seeing different stuff. My monthly cost for food, also talked about that. I've done several videos where I've talked about my monthly budget. It's generally, a meal here, if I go to any one of my favorite restaurants, it's 50 baht, 60 baht, so less than $2 for a full plate of food, and I'm drinking water there, and most of the times the water's free at the restaurants. If you want to take a bottle of water, it's like 10 baht for a bottle of water. If I spend 80 baht when I go out, which is just over $2, I'm spending a lot. So I spend less than $5 a day to eat here. So $150, $200 a month is my food budget. And that includes, if I eat less than that, or if I eat more than I can go over, I can go under, and I'm still within my budget of $200. So if you take rent, low 300s, call it 320, 325, 200 for food, $30 for electricity. My water's included in my rent at that price. I lost track already, but I'm like I said, at many months here, I'm under $700, $800 a month, all in living expenses. My phone, I just paid my phone bill last night. It was 550 baht for the month, so $15 roughly. I have internet obviously for this, and I still watch Netflix once in a while. And my internet, I just paid that bill the other day. It's first of the month, so bills are due. I think that was 600, 700 baht for the month, so $22 for high-speed internet here at the house. So it's not expensive at all. In Thailand, pigs go moo. Yes, pig in Thailand is moo. And 555, the number 5 is ha. It's pronounced ha. So we don't say LOL here. It's ha 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 or 555. So now you're all up on texting. I've got to do a video, and Koi wants to do it for her TikTok, of different animal sounds. Because I don't know how we got onto the topic once, but she was like telling me like the sound a dog makes in Thailand. I'm like, no dog in the world sounds like that. It's not, woof woof like we would say, or whatever in America. Thailand dogs say hong hong. Like, no, I hear dogs bark all the time. They don't make that sound. But yeah, the animals make different sounds here. So it's interesting. I've got to do a video on that, even if it's just going to be a short. We'll sit down and she and I will do a video on different animal sounds or something here. Yeah, if living in Pai, you better love younger backpackers doing shrooms. Yeah, so I mean, you've got that time of year when it's peak season. You get a lot of backpackers here, and the north has that kind of hippie. They probably don't call them hippies anymore. That's an old term from old age stuff, but that hippie backpacking kind of vibe. And that comes and goes with the season, and they're everywhere. They're in the north there. They're down south in the islands, and this time of year there are not nearly that many around. And the full moon parties and that kind of stuff you hear about. But yeah, and that's one of the other great things. Like a lot of people talking about the weather, and we were talking about air quality and stuff a little bit ago. A lot of people in the north, when it's burning season, actually leave and go different places. They'll come out of the north like March, April, May, peak burning seasons, until that kind of dies down because the air is so bad. So you can move around that. If there's a culture or a climate or a clientele that moves in at certain times of the year, go other places. Like we talked about, when it's rainy season here, it's not rainy season in Bali. It's not rainy season in other places. If you, whatever it is you want to avoid it, like a lot of people like to avoid Songkran because it gets super crowded and they don't want to be wet all the time. I played Songkran the first 2 years or first 2 times that I was here. Last year when I was living here, this year I avoided it completely. I didn't get wet at all. It's just too crowded. And I was gonna do a video on things to do and not do during Songkran, but we talked about negativity and stuff. I ended up sounding too negative about it. So I didn't put it out. I made the video and then I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it, because a lot of it was just harping on foreigners behaving badly. And I made that video recently, but specific to Songkran, squirting water in people's eyes and in the faces and that kind of stuff, and just totally destroying the whole meaning of Songkran for the Thai people and that culture. So I just didn't put it out. I don't like to be negative. I don't like to sound like I'm harping, because I really do try to have left that stuff behind me. And that was a big change for me. And Thailand and retirement is a big reason why I've been able to make that change. So it will definitely do you good if you struggle with things like just constantly being, irritated and stress and anxiety and that kind of stuff. It's an easy way here to switch that off and just avoid the sources of those problems. Boomers and Gen Xers only remember hippies as a label. Yeah, there's so many, I'm pretty sure in the last month or so, I've had to go and Google and figure out what Gen I am. I think I'm right at Gen X 66. I think I'm in there somewhere. But what the other gens are, and millennials and Yers and Zers, and for a culture now that apparently hates labels, right? Don't label me. They love labels. I was born in these 3 years, so I'm this, and I'm whatever. more that I don't miss. There's so much I don't miss being over here. I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. I try to avoid American news. My daily routine here is I get up in the morning, open everything up, water my garden, water my plants, make some coffee, check what happened in the market overnight, very quickly look at the news, but it's just so hateful and negative. It's more like just looking for business news, what might cause the markets to move the next night for us, right? So night for me is day for the U.S. stock market. So I just kind of stay up on that, but for the most part, I really don't care what's happening back there, other than because my kids have to live in it. Like I said, I've got no vested interest in anything back there other than them. So I try to give that stuff away. It just, I find myself, if I start reading too much of the news, I can feel it start to go, and just, okay, that means cut it off, do something else, go design a new t-shirt, go doom scroll TikTok, take a walk, go to the pool, whatever. I don't watch it. I don't mess with it. I never watched a lot of TV to begin with, but man, turning off the news will do you some good, folks, let me tell you. And that's no matter where you are. And here I don't watch the news because I don't understand, it's in Thai. But on YouTube, they have some English language news, and there's always a segment or two, unfortunately, about foreigners doing something wrong and, acting stupid, hurting somebody, being disrespectful, whatever it is. And the nice thing about that is it's usually limited to about 3 or 4 minutes, and I can skip those segments, but I try to avoid, it doesn't involve me. I don't care. Do you have to use a VPN to get US Netflix? No, you don't. But once you've logged in a couple times, you'll start to get more. I get a lot of Thai programming popping up on my Netflix, and I get a lot of Korean programming popping on my Netflix, which is cool because the Thai ones I can start, as I've been learning the language a little bit more, I'll start to pick up more. So sometimes I'll watch that, and I'll watch it with English subtitles. Same thing with the Korean shows, just because I think some of the Korean TV is hilarious. I was actually just watching a Korean series the other day on Netflix. Y'all go check it out. Kian's Bizarre Bed and Breakfast. It was it's hilarious, and I watched it in
Korean language, but just reading English subtitles. And then for a couple shows, I switched it to dubbed in English, but it just didn't have the same effect. The voices just kind of like, that doesn't kind of fit what they were doing. But you can use a VPN, and sometimes I'll do that, right? So it will limit what it's showing you in the US. Like a lot of times, if you logged into Netflix right now and it shows you whatever movies are available to you, if I logged into Netflix, it won't show me the same US movies. But if I kick on my VPN and use a mock location back in the US or use a server location in the US, it will show me different ones. So sometimes if you can't find the movie you're looking for, like you see, coming this month on Netflix, you might not get it here unless you kick your VPN on. Shameless plug, there's a link in the description for the VPN I use. If you click on that link and then go to Surfshark and sign up, doesn't cost you any more by using the link. None of the links in my description cost you any more. They're all affiliate links. If you use them, I earn a little bit of commission. That's another one of those passive income streams I was talking about a minute ago. Doesn't upcharge you anything. They just pay the YouTuber or the influencer, whatever they call it. They pay an affiliate commission. So whether it's an Amazon link that's down there or any of the others, if y'all click on those, I appreciate it. Somebody bought some books I had talked about in an investment video the other day. And I checked the dashboard this morning. I made like $1.20. They bought 2 books. I made $1.20 US off of those. So if you want to check out Surfshark, NordVPN is another popular one. So again, I use Surfshark, so I talk about it. I haven't used any of the others, so I don't talk about them. I've never had a problem with Surfshark, so I'm happy to recommend those. And I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but they do have affiliate links. So it's like $1 or $2 or whatever if you sign up. Good question though, and I use my VPN for banking a lot of times. So a lot of times if you go log into the bank, it's like you can't log in because you're in a foreign country, or they'll have to go through other verification stuff. But I have to kick on my VPN. Now some banks will block VPNs because of tunneling and some security risks that come with VPN usage. So it's kind of hit or miss there. You have to figure out what your bank uses and requires. But I definitely have a VPN, and Surfshark's who I use. What other questions y'all got? We're we're an hour and 40 minutes in. But like I said, I got no plans today. If y'all want to talk, I'll keep talking. I know later on people aren't going to watch an hour and 40-minute video, so I'll go back through and try to put some timestamps in and pick out subjects for you folks that maybe have just tuned in or you're watching it later. I think maybe at the peak here we had 11 people watching. And I've said it many times. I appreciate y'all dialing in, watching, whatever you call it, and subscribing and watching these. Like I said, I enjoy the interaction, as limited as it is between you watching me and me reading your texts. But and the reason I do it is to help y'all out. If you've got questions, and I can answer them, I can. And I'm sorry if you don't like my answers, because some folks got irritated there earlier, but ask somebody else. Maybe they'll give you a different opinion. Maybe they'll give you the answer you want to hear. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you my experience. Like I said, I don't mind being open, but they call it a private life for a reason. And there are just some things I don't talk about. I'll mention Koi. You might catch glimpses of her in some videos, but right now we're not doing videos together, just because of the hassle that comes with, putting a female face on YouTube. And I don't want to get into the whole relationship stuff and negativity and that kind of stuff, because I tell you folks, you want to get blocked on this channel, say something bad about Thai people, especially Thai women, and you're done. I don't tolerate it. And I've done videos about that. I've done a short that's gotten, I think it's like almost 400,000 views now, talking about eating Thai street food and misconceptions about Thai women. Thai street food is amazing. I love it. It's super cheap. I eat anything for the most part. I don't like som tam, and it's not because of the heat. It's because of the texture. I don't like avocados. I've never liked avocados. And there are a few other things I won't eat, but there are a lot of times I'll eat stuff. I don't know what I'm eating. It smells good. It looks good, and I'm eating it. And I'll ask, what is this? And they'll tell me, and it's in one ear out the other. I didn't understand it, but I'll eat it. But I've kind of got an iron stomach too, right? I rarely get sick with anything, but especially food sick. And the Thai people are super kind. They're very outgoing. It's the nicest culture I've ever been in here. And I will not tolerate anything negative being said about Thai people. I just don't do it. So, there are other channels that talk about the bar scene and talk about, Thai women and, horrible generalizations that you wouldn't make about any other kind of person in the world and get away with it. So, anyway, we don't tolerate that stuff here. Not like anybody was doing it, but just so you know. NordVPN offers phone service in many countries, including Thailand. Monthly plans for just as cheap as getting service once there. I didn't know that. So I maintain 2 phone numbers. I have True, DTAC True here. They combined for my Thai phone number, which is handy for data service when I'm out. That's your Google Maps that you're Googling when you're away from the house. And I have a U.S. phone number. And for that, oh my gosh, brain cramp. Who do I use? There's a link in the description. It only cost me like $6 a month. I'll think of the name of it in a second. I'd never heard of it before until I started coming and planning. And I was like, how can I keep my U.S. phone number, but I don't want to, I was with T-Mobile. And T-Mobile service is great if you're traveling because you get, free calls, free text, free data in so many countries. It's great for that. But once I'm here permanently, I was like, how can I reduce costs? I don't want to keep paying. I think I was in the 55 and over plan, and it was like $55 a month or whatever. That may have gone up. That plan may have gone away, but like $6 a month, I keep a U.S. phone number. Works great for calls when I'm on Wi-Fi, is when I get texts and that kind of stuff. But I keep that so that I can do those bank verifications I was talking about. The bank sends a 2-factor authentication. Hey, enter the 6-digit code if you want to actually access your account. You have to have a way to get that. And the banks I use won't send those codes to a Thai phone number. They're only U.S. phone numbers. And then when I'm home later in the month, when I'm back in Virginia, that phone number works there. So I can do everything I need there when I'm home. But $6 a month is all I need. And it's like free texting. I don't know, it's like 10 gig of data and 100 minutes of calls or something. And all I ever use it for is the 2-factor authentication when I'm on Wi-Fi here. I was home once in December, and this will be the second time I've gone home since I moved, and it's only for a week. So I don't use it for much anyway. Robert, can we say negative things about bar girls, sick buffaloes? You can't say anything negative about bar girls. I don't. And my feeling on that is people are working, people are trying. What I really hate is when people try to say all Thai women work in bars and they try to make those generalizations. Like I said, I don't hang out in bars. I don't have any experience with the bar girls. I've played, like I mentioned, with Songkran, that kind of stuff. You walk around. Great suggestion there. If you're here for Songkran and you want to squirt water on people and stuff, go hang out at a bar. Have a drink. Talk to some people. They usually have barrels of water out. Go get some food, whatever. I don't hang out and drink and just don't do it. So no, don't talk about bar girls. It's just easier that way. Go to one of those other channels that was mentioned earlier that likes to talk about women in bars. And I think even one of them owns a bar or something. Go do that somewhere else. I'm not into it. It almost ends up with troublesome talk here. Darren, another channel button. Again, okay, I'll read it out for everybody in case they're not reading the comments and for those watching later. He says, hit that like button and share the video out. Please sub if you haven't already. If you have, make sure you're still subbed. YouTube's weird sometimes, so it's good to check. Yeah, sometimes it does go through, and for whatever reason, it thinks people are bots or whatever and kicks them off. But yeah, thank you. If you're enjoying it, if you're getting anything out of it, go ahead and punch that like and subscribe. And if you know somebody who's interested or you've been talking to your friends about, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Thailand, send them the video. It's coming up on 2 hours long. They're probably not going to watch it. Send them one of the other ones. That's okay. Let's see. Is it easy to watch your favorite sports back home? So I mentioned earlier, I don't watch a lot of TV. I was never really into a bunch of sports. I never watched a bunch of sports on TV. Used to go to DC to go to baseball games. My kids were into baseball and basketball. So we would go see and they would watch and stuff. I know, let's see. I know somebody who traveled and they had the NFL subscription and that wouldn't work for them when they were out of the country. My son loves basketball.
and he was watching basketball games when he was here, but I don't know how he was doing it. I know he was on my internet, but I don't think he was on my VPN or anything. So it can be done. I know a lot of people just go, we've got some great sports bars in town, and they'll just go to sports bars, and they'll, they've got cricket going, they've got soccer, they've got football, they've got whatever you want. And a lot of them, put it on. The tough thing is that, times are opposite. If you're in the US, it's literally, opposite side of the world. It's 12:30 a.m. on the East Coast, and it's 11:30 in the morning here for me right now because y'all got daylight savings time and it screws you up. But normally we're 12 hours ahead. So if your game is on at in the middle of the afternoon, it's going to be middle of the night for you here. The evenings and mornings are easy, and that's how I normally keep up with folks at home. When I'm going to bed, they're getting up, or when the other way around. So it can be done. But I don't watch it. So again, I don't have any experience with it. I can't tell you. Yeah, Android. I know some people are talking about some kind of box. I think it's a little cheater box you can get and have it programmed with all your movie channels and sports channels and stuff. But I don't watch TV. Like I said, I watch Amazon once in a while and Netflix once in a while. I still have an Amazon subscription because you can get Amazon delivered here. And because I sell on Amazon, I have T-shirts and other things that I do on Amazon for that passive income. But so every once in a while, I'll watch a movie or a series on Amazon, or I'll watch a movie or a series on Netflix. But other than that, I don't watch a whole lot, and that's not even a daily thing. It's more like I'm bored and it's raining. Something's going on. Most of the time, I'm on the computer working on something, doing something, killing time, or I'm out running around, or I'm just relaxing at the pool. But I don't spend a lot of time in front of the TV. IPTV box, that's it. David Cash in the comments. That's the box I was just talking about. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's legit, legal, whatever. A lot of people talk about it. It's anyway, you're supposed to be able to get all your channels and stuff on there. Maybe they can tell you more about it. I know some people that have asked about getting it hooked up. I know one person that at one time had it and then gave up on it. But I didn't get into it because it really just didn't interest me. Don't have anything negative to say about bar girls. Not all Thailand would be Thailand without them. Yeah, it's one of those things that it's here, and if you're into that, that's great. Like I've said a couple times, you do you, and that's one of the things about Thai culture that I love. It's not like, and I'll use the U.S. as an example because I'm from there, and I know that, but I know it's not limited to the U.S. The other thing I don't talk about here is I don't get into political stuff. It's not a political channel at all. I don't believe anything that's going on in any country in the world is a result of whatever leader is in, office at that particular time. There's a long history to culture change, and like we talked about hippies a little bit ago, right? And I did a video the other day about when did common sense die. Has nothing to do with who is president or prime minister or whatever in your country at this moment. Those change every couple of years, no matter where for the most part, no matter where you live. Some countries don't. It's not. I don't do politics, so let it go. It's those generalizations, right, where you wouldn't talk about a specific job a person has at home. Well, people do and get away with it, right? Like in the U.S., it's like trendy to talk bad and do bad things to police. So we don't just leave all that crap behind. Bar girls are here. There's the sex trade in Thailand. But to go and say that everybody who comes to Thailand is only here for a sex trade, you're going to get blocked in a hurry, right? We don't do that here. We don't talk like that here. That's not why everyone is here. I'm here to relax, enjoy a comfortable, quiet life. No interest in that at all. It's limited to a few streets in Pattaya, and it gives that whole town a bad reputation, and that's sad. And the same thing with Bangkok, right? You've got songs about whatever bad guys go to Bangkok, and one night in Bangkok makes a hard man humble. Taking you back to the 90s with that one. That's a few areas. It is not the whole country. It is not the whole city, no matter what city it is. But if you go to any city, any major city in the world, any major city in the U.S., you will find the sex trade. You'll find every drug trade, whatever. It's everywhere. But anyway, again, no negativity, just fair warning. We don't get into that stuff on this channel.
Great vid when common sense died. Go back and watch it. Yeah, you'd be one of like 20 people who've watched it if you go and watch that one. That was one of those where I was really struggling not to get into a rant and not sound real negative. But man, there are just some things. When I used to, when I was in financial crimes and stuff in the past, in a couple of my roles, I used to go and teach investigators all about money laundering and financial crimes and how to do investigations and how to track money and that kind of stuff. And one of the things I used to have a something ain't right rule, right? And if something ain't right, if you're thinking about something, you go, something ain't right. Yeah, that's what we used to call a clue. Man, the way people act these days, something ain't right. And I was trying not to get into the whole thing, but of course, a lot of people in the comments took it to that political side of things, and they're not commenting anymore. Or they might think they're commenting. So just so you know, if you get blocked on a channel on YouTube, my understanding is still looks like you can make comments, but they don't show up anywhere because for me, what it says is block the user's future comments. So I don't know if they can still comment or not. It just doesn't get published. I don't see them anymore. You don't see them anymore. Hey, if they can still watch the videos and add to my watch time, that's great. But those comments don't survive here. Sorry about that, guys. Coffee's getting cold. I'm gonna have to switch to a soda I got here. What else you got? Questions about how many of you are actually in the comments right now? Type in where you're watching from. I'm just interested to see. I know a couple people, it sounds like, are here in Thailand now. Where's everybody else from? Let me see where everybody is, and then we'll get a sense for it. And I want to kind of compare that to the metrics that I get on the channel. So the vast majority, YouTube tells me the vast majority of you are over 40-year-old males living in the US. So that's my main demographic. Number 2 is the UK, and number 3 is Thailand, as far as folks who watch the channel. Sorry, gang. Okay, and Robert, I misread yours first. I thought it said Southern India, Southern Indiana. Canada, okay, yeah, a lot of folks in Canada. Went to a pub in Bangkok, loud American talking politics, had to leave and go where there wasn't going on. Yeah, so you hit 2 things there. Americans are loud, and many people will tell you they can tell an American in public because they're the loudest. We make a lot of noise. We just generally talk loud. And I tend to be a very quiet person. I've mentioned it many times. I like the quiet of this. I hate loud noise. And that's one of the reasons I don't like to hang out in bars and stuff, because between the music and just the noise around, after so many years of sirens and guns and in the Army, I was an engineer, so we used to blow things up. All that noise is just like, I don't do it. Southern Indiana, Canada, Joaquin, Vancouver, Canada. Okay, so on west coast of Canada too. Vancouver's nice. I got to go to a conference in Vancouver once. It was a Pacific Rim money laundering conference. Nice, I enjoyed it. All right, well, thanks for that. I think everybody responded. There's 8 of you watching now, so I appreciate that. One of the things I get asked a lot when I do real estate videos or when I do any videos about what things cost, people are all the time fussing in the comments or asking, I shouldn't say fussing, it just sounds bad, asking all the time with, hey, why don't you do conversions? If a condo is $25,000 baht a month to rent, how much is that in US dollars? Well, and I've talked about this in a couple of other videos. The reason I don't do it is we don't use US dollars here. We don't use Canadian dollars. We don't use Indian rupees. You got to convert all that stuff when you get here anyway. You're only using baht, and the people you're dealing with are only going to deal in baht. So you got to convert it. And if you don't know, conversion rates change constantly throughout the day. Intraday, they trade just like stocks, commodities. Currency is a commodity. The rates change all the time. So if you're watching, somebody was on earlier talking about a video I made about Riviera Jomtien. That was in my first visit to Thailand because I was staying in that room. That's 2 years old. And it's talking about a $400 room. And I did dollars then. But it's not $400 now, right? So you might be watching the video 2 years from now. You might be watching it live. Tomorrow, that price is different.
I used to put in the condo videos on the screen, I used to put like US dollars, British pounds, euros, and maybe Canadian dollars or something. And then segments would complain, why don't you put mine on the screen? Why don't you put Australian dollars on there? Why don't you put Indian rupees on there? Why don't you? So one, you can't please everybody all the time. There's always going to be somebody that's left out. And then the other thing was those rates were wrong by the time you saw the video, because I'll record a video and maybe not edit it for a month and then put it up. You might not watch it until later. So the prices have changed. The conversion rates have changed. Like last year, the dollar to baht was almost 37 baht to the dollar. Right now, we're lucky when it breaks 34. So all those prices from last year, if they're in dollars, are wrong. And they're off significantly, right? And 3 baht per, that's a 10% difference, right? If it's 33 now, 34 now, and it was 37. So I don't do that anymore because I don't want to give you all wrong prices. You need to be able to figure out how to convert baht to whatever your local currency is or your home currency is, because that's what you're going to be living in when you get here. So just trying to get y'all acclimated to things, and it eliminates a lot of strife. I know a lot of people, I watch other channels and they still put, amounts in a couple of different currencies on there. And like I was watching Jason on Good Vibes Pattaya the other day, looking at his condo videos. And I've kind of gotten out of the habit of doing condo videos, and he still puts prices on the screen in a couple of different values. And I was tempted to go and look at the comments to see if people are fussing at him about, hey, put it in mine. Why don't you put it in mine? But like, nah, I don't even want to get into the negativity of the comments of that kind of stuff anymore. But I don't do it. It's just, I'll do it my way. Do it your way. We talked about y'all starting your own YouTube channels before you come or when you get here. Do it different on your channel. But you're going to deal in bot when you get here, so figure it out. And if you don't know how to figure it out, well, there's no time like the present to learn. Just Google it. And the time it takes you to type that question in, what is it in whatever currency, you could have already found the answer that day for that current rate, just by typing it in the search browser. Something most people don't think is possible, but where and how I live, it's actually cheaper than Thailand. No debt, no rent. 1K easily covers my living here, and people are like, no way, yes way. So I know I can make it in Thailand, but keeping it the same cost me here will be harder. Interesting. Awesome. So Southern Indiana is cheaper than Thailand, and like you said, for the way you live. I'm guessing there are other people in Southern Indiana that are living differently. So yeah, that's awesome if you can do that. You are if I'm understanding your comment correctly, it's going to be more expensive for you to come to Thailand, and you're the first person I've met to say that, or heard from to say that. But interesting and awesome that you're living so cheaply in the U.S. I mean, kudos. You definitely need to start a YouTube channel and talk to people about how you're doing that in the U.S. because nobody's making that content. I mean, you get homesteaders and that kind of stuff, and maybe that's what you're doing. I don't know. If you feel like sharing how you're doing that a little bit in the comments, go for it. If you've got a channel and you're already talking about that, put your channel in the text and in the comments so we can go look at it, because I'd watch. If you guys, let's do that next. You already told me where you're from. If you guys have your own channels, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, put them in the comments now, and then everybody leave this video and go watch theirs or save it for later. I think the comments, this time I clicked the button right. I think the live chat is going to be comments in the video after. The other ones I've done live, they didn't come over. So I found a button this morning. I clicked it. Maybe it's going to work. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys have got, promote yourself right now in the comments. And if you don't have a channel already, and just put I'm thinking about it. Moved from Oklahoma, cheap state to live in. Moved for the lifestyle, constant summer. Wait a minute, David, where are you? Oh, you're in Hawaii. I was confusing that with Indiana. I was like, where in the hell are you getting constant summer in Indiana? Cheap to live in, moved for lifestyle, constant summer, great food, spending about the same, twice the life. Yeah, Hua Hin is great. And I know folks who started up here and have moved to Hua Hin because it's a little more calm than Jomtien, than Pattaya. It still has a little bit more of a city vibe than Bang Sere. I've enjoyed Hua Hin when I was down there. And actually, some of my best performing videos were the few videos that I made about condos and stuff in Hua Hin. They've outdone videos in Pattaya, Bangkok, lots of places. I've got several Hua Hin videos, I think, that are 10, 18, 20, 25,000 views on them. So
it's a great place. It's really laid back, nice beaches, pretty. Hua Hin, Chaham, just up the road. Nice. And if you're interested in those places, I've got a couple of videos, but not many. I keep saying that's another one of those places I need to get back down there. I did a video on how to ride the train back and forth, a bus down, and I took the train back just to get those different experiences and rates and be able to tell you all what it's like. So there's a lot of history in that playlist or in the multiple playlists that I've got out there if you want to go check those out. Robert owns his own property tax $115 a year for an acre. Cable and internet's biggest bill. Man, who'd have thought, right? Cable and, like when I was living in Virginia, my just internet was like $75 just for Wi-Fi in the house. And like I said, I didn't have like TV channels. I did for a while. And then I cut them off because I wasn't using them. The kids were, coming over at first, and then they got to driving and stuff. And it's like, I don't need it, so cut it off. Watch it on your phone. Get by on $300 a month for food and drink. Yeah. Again, it's all about your lifestyle. You don't drink, you don't carry home insurance. I don't know. Great. That's awesome. All right, nobody jumping on the promote yourself idea, huh? Okay. All right. I just take that to mean y'all don't have your channel. So that's opportunities for all 8 of you to go out and start a channel on why you're thinking about this or why you're doing this. You guys in Canada, are you escaping the cold? Are you escaping Canadian cost of living? What are you thinking about? Are you just dreaming? A lot of people watch videos and they're just like, man, one day, one day. And I talked about it in a video. So I used to work when I stopped working, I was working at Wells Fargo Bank. And after I moved here, there was a terrible news story came out. The whole back to work thing, we'd been out of the office because of the big sickness, and you can't really say the word on here. But anyway, the woman went to work on Friday, died at her desk, and they didn't find her for several days. People always say one day or someday soon or in 2 years I'm gonna, or this is my plan. And I've talked about it many times in other videos, and it's just kind of the way I live now, right? I've got a t-shirt that I wear all the time, and if you're watching it later, there's probably a thing, I'm trying to do the finger in the right one, down here that says shop, and I've got some t-shirt designs. And my mantra now is die with memories, not dreams. No one has ever died and on their deathbed said, wow, I wish I'd never gone to all those places. They might say, I wish I never did that one thing if that's why they're dying, but I don't know anybody who has ever at the end of life gone, I wish I'd never explored. I wish I'd never done. I wish I'd taken more time away from work. I don't know anybody who says, I wish I'd worked more. I wish I'd, just doesn't happen. And you don't know. I don't know that I'm going to finish this video with y'all, not to be morbid, but things happen, right? You only get so many heartbeats in life, and the counter's going down every beat. So don't wait. Get out there and do it. Stop making excuses and just go and try and experience, because once you get it, you get it. And I wish I could have done it earlier, and maybe you can't because you've got things holding you back. And I've made videos about, excuses people make. Oh, I've got kids and I've got this. And I told you I'm going home because my youngest is graduating high school. And I've been here almost 2 years now. So I did a video, moving away doesn't make you a bad parent. A lot of it's just excuses. Now, some of it's real, right? There's a difference between a reason and an excuse, and we're not going to get into that. But you only got so much time, right? We talked about George Strait earlier, right? I'm here for a good time. I'm not here for a long time. Darren, his girlfriend is Thai, so I'll be there soon. She needs to check in on her family. I'll contact you when I'm there. Cheers, her family's in Hua Hin. Yeah. Like I said, I need to get back down to Hua Hin. I got folks back down there I need to see again. I got some more videos I want to make down there. And we'll figure it out. Come on. 10,000 for your acre and small home back in 2016 before stuff went crazy. Yeah. Cable, $225 a month. Like we just said, that's more than my food budget here for a whole month. She moved here for the health weeks, blood pressure dropped. Sorry, I got to scroll back. David Dunn in Washington. Sorry, guys, memory. Moved here for 3 weeks. Blood pressure dropped, normal for the first time in 15 years. Yeah, I talked in earlier. I've got videos out there about. I've been to the hospital twice since I've been here, and before I came, I mean, it was just daily aggravation, constant stress, always angry, aggravated about something, and that is all gone, and I don't allow it back. Had high blood pressure, all kinds of issues. I've lost a ton of weight that I needed to lose because I used to just sit and stress eat and eat out of boredom, and I don't do that anymore. I don't keep a lot of snacks in the house, but it's just so relaxing here. Blood pressure's down the same. Yeah, everything is much more relaxing. I mean, you used to have so much tension. I would chest pain all the time, blood pressure up all the time. And I feel different here. I know I'm better, but I've gone and I've had the blood tests and stuff done, and I know, technically, physically, I'm actually more healthy. I'm in better shape now than I was, and that's great. And a lot of it is just changing your environment. Some of it is changing diet, changing habits. I walk more, I'm outside more, getting rid of work and get into a place where life and the whole culture is just all about chill out, relax, sabai. It's all good. Don't worry about it. It makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. And a lot of people, I've met with many of y'all who've come, and health problems that they've had at home go away here. They're healthier once they come and they relax and they put all that behind them. And I firmly believe a lot of it is putting the stress and the culture of the West behind you and just adapting to the way things are here. And don't worry about it. Yeah, if anything, people on their deathbed said they wish they would have lived more and worked less. Absolutely, and that's my point exactly. You gotta die with memories. Get out, make memories, do it. If you think about it, if you're saying I need to work 2 more years, I thought so too, and I didn't choose to leave 2 years early. My job went away, and I was forced to leave 2 years early. But for me, it was a huge blessing, right? One, because I got a great severance. I couldn't remember the word severance earlier. I don't remember what I called it, separation or something. I got a great severance package. So like I mentioned, I was getting paid my full U.S. salary the first 6 months I was living in Thailand. But I'm here 2 years. So I'm not supposed to be here until next month. And I've been here, and I'm healthier, and I'm loving life, and I'm happy, which is weird because, life in America for a long, long time, I was not happy. Not happy with work, not happy with life, just not happy, right? And all that noise and negativity coming in around you. That just goes away here. So no matter where it is you're planning, even if it's just traveling or just go, whether it's Thailand or wherever else, go. If it's go for a month, go for 6 months, go back and forth, cruise the world. I don't know, but go and do it. You won't regret it. And that's how you find out how expensive it is to go those places and be those places and live in those places. And for me, after having been here, so I came here the first time scouting to see what I like it here. And I went home, found out my job was going away. I was like, okay, well, at least I know I can. And I knew I liked it. So when the time came, I came. It was time to get over here. Plans, like I said earlier, whether it's, you only get so many beats of the heart or you only get so many days at work, don't waste them. Huge reason I want out. It's 10 tornado warnings so far. I'm over cold weather too. I love the snow skiing. That's tough to give up. You can always travel and go ski somewhere. There's places around. I don't know. Is there skiing in Japan? I know they got snow on top of Mount Fuji. You can always fly home. It's a good reason to go home and visit. Take a ski trip. Go somewhere and ski. No skiing in Thailand though. Water skiing maybe, but no snow skiing. Yeah, I hated the cold. Man, it's like the Virginia cold. It was just ice a lot where I was. We didn't even get that much snow. It was just miserable cold, and I hated it. I hated everything about being cold. And luckily, when I went home in December, oh man, you talk about that. It's like I'm never going back to Virginia in the winter again. That's for sure. It's not cold here. And today it's really, really comfortable. It's a little cloudy now, but it's still probably 90 something. But I just got the doors open, little breeze blowing, fan on me there. BP is high as well. Sounds wonderful. Yeah. And, so the great thing too is if you're on medication, whether it's heart medication, blood pressure medication, somebody asked about self-insuring and stuff earlier. I had a family from Australia who watched the channel meet up with me while they were doing some house shopping here. They wanted to move. They wanted to make the move. And one of them took, I think, 5 medications regularly. Blood pressure, heart, that kind of stuff. And one of their questions was, and we had already looked at stuff. We were kind of waiting on their bolt to come down here to pick them up because they were staying up in Pattaya. And we were looking down here in Bangladesh. It's like, hey, do I need prescriptions for medicine here? How would I get my heart medicine that I've been on? Like, well, a lot of stuff you can get there with a prescription doesn't take a prescription here. Let's walk to the pharmacy across the street and find out. No prescription, had it in stock, had the dosage, and the price was, way, it's like, I don't remember what it was, but it was hundreds of % less than what they would pay at home. So medicine here is cheap and easy. I know there's another story I've got. Met up with a fella who moved here. Neighbor's back. And he was taking lots of medication, and same thing, right? Like, hey, I need my medicine. I'm out. I've been here a couple of weeks now. Can you go with me to the pharmacy? Yeah, come on. I'll go. Let's go see if they've got it. And I think 2 of them they had in stock, 2 they had to order. He could come pick up the next day. No prescriptions for any of it. No visits to doctors, no visits to hospital. Just walk in, say, here's what I'm on. Here's my dosage. And yeah, we got it. And the 5th one, I think he thought it was blood pressure or heart medication. And the pharmacist goes, this is for allergies. And he'd been taking a prescribed allergy medication prescribed by his doctor, thinking it was heart or blood pressure medication. All this years, been paying for it at U.S. healthcare prices, finding out it's allergy medicine. And that's another thing we don't have here. Like, I know right now at home in Virginia, it's green season, right? It's pollen. So all that yellow and green pollen is everywhere. It coats your car in a minute. You wash it, it's green before you dry it. We don't have that here. I had bad allergies at home, especially in the high pollen season. There's 1 month here, 2 months ago or so, maybe back in the end of February, March, I got a little sniffly because there was some pollen, but here it's like flower pollen. It's not the pine tree pollen and that kind of stuff. So healthcare concerns are different here, and healthcare expenses are much lower here. And we talked about quality of healthcare through the roof. Great care here. You don't have anything to worry about. You come to Thailand with healthcare. Now, and a little different if you're living maybe in rural, Isan or somewhere, or in a small town where you don't have a big hospital. But for the most part, doctors here are fantastic, well educated. The care is great. The attention that you get when you go to a hospital here is incredible. It's like 5-star hotel care from every person on staff there, and it's so affordable. Hoping to be there before high season hits this year, but I'm doing 6 to 12 months. Whole Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines, Vietnam, Bali Loop. Heck yeah! Who is that? Robert. That's one of the reasons I chose Thailand. Was I want to tour more and I want to travel more. I want to see more of Southeast Asia. Haven't done it yet. I did a little bit when my son was here, January, February. We went on a couple cruises. So got to Singapore, got to Hong Kong, Shanghai a little bit. Leaving someplace else. We hit on a cruise. We hit Penang, but just for a couple hours. So I've seen a little bit that way, but like to go and stay someplace for a week and stuff. That's what I haven't done yet. Like I said, I'm coming up on 2 years, and there's so much to do here. I haven't had a need to leave, or really, okay, it's time. I keep saying I want to go to Vietnam. I want to go. I just haven't made time for it yet. We'll see. But yeah, that sounds like a great thing, rolling around all of Southeast Asia. David, dreamed for 2 years, woke up one day, sold everything. Oh, there's a comma there. I sold everything. My girlfriend. I thought you sold your girlfriend for a minute. My girlfriend and I left with 3 suitcases and haven't looked back. Yeah. And that's something I will tell you. If you're planning on coming for a visit, whether it's a short-term visit, long-term visit, or you're coming to stay here, don't bring a lot of stuff. Man, I get people ask all the time about how am I going to move my furniture? Don't sell it. And no need to move all that furniture. There's furniture here. Chances are your furniture is too big for the accommodations here. And there are lots of other videos I've done and other people have done about how things are smaller here and how you have to change things around. Your appliances might burn up if you plug them in here like your toaster. Just buy it here. You're going to find out that
a lot of things come fully furnished, down to like forks and spoons and plates and furniture, sheets, or, the one thing I will say, and I've got this video planned, I'll tell you, I've been planning to make it on like the 5 or 10 things you actually need to bring with you if you're going to move here. Okay? And the rest of it you don't. Don't bring it. You're going to bring way too many clothes. You can buy this shirt is from Target at home. I probably paid $5 for it there. You can get shirts here for 100 baht. You can get them $3 all day long, anywhere you want to go. Collared like polo style shirts are $3.50 to $5 anywhere. You can buy clothes here. You can buy shoes. You can buy flip flops. Sunscreen. Bring sunscreen if you're coming. Most of the sunscreen here, Thai people don't like to be dark. They want to be lighter. We all want to get tans. They don't want tans. So a lot of their sunscreen has whitener or brightener in it. And sunscreen is very expensive. It's like a tube of banana boat or whatever you can get here. It's like $15. And I know it's still expensive at home. But one, it's hard to find here. And two, it's more expensive. So if you've got a particular brand of sunscreen that you like, or you're just coming short time, bring sunscreen with you. But don't bring a lot of clothes and stuff. Buy what you want here. If you don't like it, throw it away before you leave, donate it, whatever, or buy it and take home as a souvenir. You don't need to bring a lot of jeans, long pants, 6 pair of shoes, that kind of thing. I live in flip-flops or Crocs, that kind of thing. At closed-toe shoes, I've got a pair of tennis shoes and I got a pair of Skechers that you step into. But for the most part, I'm in sandals or flip-flops all the time. Don't bring a lot of stuff if you're coming, even to visit. You don't need it. Sorry, I'm reading again. Lineless bifocals. See, that's why I want to do the traveling loop first. You have to keep getting off, knock it off, and you settle down and return to the places you like most later on. Yeah, and if you're not sure where you want to land, it's a great way to see multiple places. Talking about traveling and doing, a big loop. Like I said, when I started, I thought I had time. I had a long list, and then I narrowed it down to 10 countries when I started getting serious, and then I narrowed it down to 5, and then I landed on Thailand. But like, if hey, I want to check out Southeast Asia or Southern Europe or wherever, because I had a little bit of both, right? I had Central America. I had some places in Europe. Portugal was on the list. Malta was on the list. Lots of places in Central America, and then over here, a couple places too. And that's just based on the criteria places you want to live. You just go and check it out, but don't go like you're on vacation. Go and figure things out. Like in Portugal, I went into a pharmacy. I was like, hey, how much are prescriptions here? Ended up talking with a pharmacist about she was telling me about she imported a car and how much her insurance was. So you get a lot of good information just talking to people. So go with that mindset if you're going out checking out places, and just talk to locals, talk to other expats that have moved there, lived there, and find out what it's like, and go see what it's. Don't go live in the touristy places. Find a place where like you would actually live and see what's around. Look at going to the market. What's that like? What's going to the 7-Eleven like? Where am I going to wash my clothes? How am I going to do? Think like, okay, I'm actually going to live here. What all would I need to do? And then go and do those things, or at least figure out how you would do those things and what it would cost. How do I get there? What's a bolt cost if I need to go to Big C and it's raining, or wherever you're going? There's so many things you need to consider that a lot of people don't think about. But I will also say, don't get wrapped up in those details. You don't have to have that all figured out before you move. You can figure it out when you get there. There's a whole ton of stuff I figured out after I got here. I mean, I had a good plan going in, and I had an idea what things were going to be like. But don't sweat the small stuff. All right, y'all. It is time to switch to the Schweppes. And it's warm now because it's 2 hours ago I opened this, took it out of the refrigerator. I spend enough time in each place to get over the honeymoon phase to know what it's really like. Yeah, and that's why I say, like, don't go in vacation mode. Go back multiple times, or come and stay. Go and stay more than a week, stay more than 2 weeks. Stay long enough that you got to do laundry or figure out where you're going to get new clothes. Stay long enough that if you're going to buy groceries, if you're going to cook. I don't cook. I did one cooking video here the other day making, what did I make? Pakbun. And it's fun, right? I used to love to cook back in America, but here it's so cheap and easy to go out or get something delivered. I almost never cook anymore. But maybe wherever you're looking, or maybe that's something you've got a special diet you've got to watch and you're going to need to cook for yourself, figure out, can I get that food there? Where do I get it? How often can I get it? What's it going to cost me? So go and stay with that mindset. Or even if maybe you can't because of work, maybe you can't take a month off and go stay somewhere. Maybe you can only go for 2 weeks. Go with that mindset. And then instead of, go and relax a little bit, but in between, go figure out how you would do those things while you're there. Make the best use of your time. If you're thinking long-term, do some long-term planning, but don't get wound up in the details and go, I can't move until I know. Go figure it out. And the other nice thing is, like I've said a couple of times, it's so cheap once you get here. If you move to Thailand and you decide, man, Thailand is not for me, the visa, the tax, whatever the reason is, and you've gone and you visited Vietnam, I want to go try Vietnam for a while. Go. It's a $50 plane ride. Go. Pack your 2 suitcases, free check bags, most of them, and go. It's easy to move once you get here. There's nothing tying you down anymore. Go visit places. A lot of people say, I want to come and stay here for 6 months and go somewhere else for 6 months. Come here, stay for 6 months, go somewhere else. I thought the same thing when I was checking out countries. I went to Portugal. I intentionally went there in February down to Lagos on the south coast because I love it there. It's gorgeous. I like the food. I like the landscape. Everything about it I liked, except I went in February to make sure, because that's the cold season. I didn't want to be cold anymore, and it was too cold for me. It was rainy, cold. Cold, it was like 50 degrees, right? Fahrenheit, right? I don't know what that converts to in Celsius when it goes that low. I don't care. It's just too cold. So I said no. But then what I thought was, well, if I come here, maybe I want to escape to rainy season, which is, like I said, getting into now, May, June, July. That's great season in Portugal. If I want to go live in Portugal a couple months, I could, right? Because I know what it's like there. When I went there, I went scouting. What would it cost me to, what's an apartment cost? How would I get around? You can easily live multiple places. There's nothing tying. I guess it's that nomadic lifestyle or the whole digital nomad thing if you're still working remotely, but so many options. There's nothing tying you to one place other than a job. And I ain't got one. So like people say, what do you do all day? Like whatever I want. And I don't mean it's snarky, but I had no plans of coming on here and talking for 2.5 hours. I got nothing to do today. And I'm okay with that. I don't say that in a bad way. I'm fine with that. I watered the plants this morning. I have my coffee. I'll go out for lunch here in a little bit. It's coming up on noon. I'll go get some lunch. I'll ride around, do some shopping, whatever I got to do. I'll enjoy my day doing nothing. If it stays nice, I might even make it to the pool today. We'll see. But it's just, don't let that job kill you, folks. Don't end up dying at your desk. Don't make excuses. I eat out maybe one time per 3 months. I'm so beyond overcooking. I never want to cook again. All of Southeast Asia is perfect in that aspect. Yeah, you can't go far without finding food. Here, it's a food cart. It's somebody driving by with a food cart. It's a lady selling. So she's got a restaurant set up in her house, and those are some of the best places to eat. Don't let your eyes fool you. They're just try everything. And try the places. A good rule of thumb is if it's full of locals, eat there. If the locals aren't eating there, skip it. So they know, right? They know all the good places. It's kind of like, I don't know, kind of like back at home. If you see the police eating somewhere, you eat there, right? Because they know all the good spots. We had to eat out all the time on your shift. Most of the time, you got a break. You could mark out and eat, but a lot of times you got called away from it. But want to know a good place to eat? Well, if it's got a couple police cars parked there and they don't have their lights flashing, eat there. Here, if the Thais eat there, you eat there. Because you'll see places that are just like all Western food. It's only foreigners. It's going to be expensive there. It's going to be Western food. If you're craving it, go for it. For the most part, I don't eat Western food here anymore. I don't miss it, so I don't eat it. Although I did have a really good video when I tried and compared Kentucky Fried Chicken here to Kentucky Fried Chicken at home. Did a short on that, and it still gets thousands of views every month, and that's a 1.5 years old. A 2.5 hour video, yeah. Y'all keep talking. I've been trying to get off here for like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's been 2 hours and 29 minutes.
It's funny because I don't talk a lot. And I used to, I had to talk all the time at work, and I would come home and like I had used my words up for the day. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't mind getting on here and helping y'all. And I keep to myself a lot. So this is my social interaction. Like I'm getting a month's worth here. So when I go home, I won't have anything to say because y'all talk me out. The video I was talking about doing about the things that you have to bring with you when you come to Thailand, yeah, that's going to get put off again because now I'm out of words. Viewership is dropping. I know it's getting late for you all. We're down to 6. I'll give you 2 minutes to ask your last questions. That will take me to 2 hours and 32 minutes. And then I'm going to go get some lunch because it's 4 minutes after 12 here. It's noon for me. And I usually only eat 2 meals a day. So I usually eat about 10:30, and then somewhere around night market opens around 4. I'll head to the market and buy something and usually eat 5:30, 6 o'clock, sometimes 7 o'clock at night. And that's not because I'm trying to cut costs or anything. That's just the way I eat. I'm not a big breakfast person. I'll have a cup of coffee and a banana. And then at 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'll usually go and get something. I'll get some rice. I'll get some noodles or whatever, get some Thai food, and then spend my day. And then I'll go out for dinner at whatever time I feel like going out. But I don't like to drive after dark just because I'm old. And it just gets more dangerous on a motorcycle after dark. So I don't like to do it. If I end up like I don't feel like eating at 4 or 5 o'clock, going to the market and bringing something back, or going to a restaurant, then I'll just call Grab. I'll just order something up and have them deliver it. And it's maybe 10 baht more to have it delivered to the house instead of going to the store or to the restaurant and buying it. So it's really no big deal. Sorry, guys. What brokers do I use for my stocks? Fidelity and Schwab use. IBKR. I've never heard of IBKR. I use E-Trade. A lot of people living abroad, I understand, use Schwab for a couple of reasons, and the main one is that you can use your ATM card or your debit card that they'll issue for your account, and you get refunds for any ATM fees. So that's a big benefit here if you don't have a Thai bank account or if you don't want to keep a lot of money in a Thai bank. It means you're going to be pulling money out from an ATM, and that's something you need to consider when you go to these places. Look into those things. Skimming is really, really bad in a lot of Southeast Asia. It's bad in a lot of places, but it's bad here in Thailand too. So you got to worry about that if you're going to use your card for withdrawals. I definitely recommend going into the bank and pulling out money, and that way a lot of times you avoid the ATM fees. Did you know if you go to the counter and take the cash out off your debit card that way, a lot of times they don't charge you a fee, or it won't be as high as the ATM fees. But a lot of people, to answer the question, I use E-Trade. I am considering switching to Schwab, or was at a time, but maybe not so much anymore just because it's kind of a big hassle and I've got everything there. So that's who I use. Could you comment on a budget for a car? Very simple, nothing fancy. I drive a motorbike. I paid the equivalent of $1,400, I think. I did a video when I bought it to tell you how much I bought it in there for. I think 48,000 baht, and then whatever the exchange rate then was better than it is now. But it was less than $2,000. Is right around 1,500 bucks, a little bit less for a brand new motorbike that I ride whenever I want anything. Cars depend on, what you want. I can tell you that Koi just got a car 6 months ago now. Gosh, I don't know how long she's had it. It's like a 1 or 2 year old Corolla Cross. I don't know what that translates to, what model in back in the US, like a Highlander maybe, like Toyota RAV4 type size, but a little bit bigger. And that was, I think it was 2 years old and had 40,000 kilometers on it and got it for like 700,000 baht. A couple people that I know have bought the little electric MG brand cars, and it's like a little 4-door sedan. I want to say those are under 350,000 baht. So less than $10,000, you can buy a car. I know if I need a car, one, I could use hers if I'm up there and bring it back if I needed one for some particular reason, like my son and I used it. Or you can rent one here. You can rent them weekly. You can rent them monthly. They're not that expensive. The thing about a car is traffic's going to be worse because you can't split lanes and stuff like you can on a motorbike. And you really got to watch when you're driving, especially if you're not used to driving on the left side of the road.
but easily for less than 10,000 US, 350,000 baht, you can get a nice new car here. And if you want to go used, you can get, depending on what you're getting, size and age and, mileage and that kind of stuff. Same as everywhere else, it gets cheaper. You guys, you have gone over time now. See, I tell you 2 minutes to ask your questions and everybody starts knocking them out. Let's see how you are. Always worries me with Fidelity and Schwab because they're not really international, where IBKR is international. Yeah, so that's the tough thing with a lot of banks in the U.S. A lot of U.S. banks will not bank you. They will kick you out of the bank, send you a check, give you all your money back and tell you you're out, you're done, because you live abroad. And that's one of the main reasons why you probably want to keep a U.S. address. And we talked about taxes and that kind of stuff earlier. And I've made videos before about keeping a U.S. address, and maybe you want to move to one of those more favorable tax states before you retire or before you move abroad. Change your address, move to one of those states that doesn't have state income tax. If you're going to still have to pay taxes back in the U.S., why pay state income tax to a state where you're not living, not using the roads, not using any of the support or facilities? That's one of those things to think about before you retire is, depending on where you're retiring from, what can you do to save on taxes, and what can you do to, what do you need to keep intact back home before you move so that you can have all that organized when you come here. So be careful of your bank. If they find out you're living full-time abroad, they may kick you out because and I worked, like I mentioned, I worked in financial crimes. I worked a lot in risk and that kind of stuff, that side of the bank. And in a couple instances have been in banks where we kicked all the foreign customers out. We just thought, okay, we're not doing that anymore. The bank wants to cut back on its risk exposure because the regulators are telling it to, or because it's too expensive. And you look at 90% of the expense of the compliance side of the bank is 10% of the customers who are foreign. So like, all right, we're just going to stop doing business with foreign customers or people who are living abroad. So if you were not, if you were a true foreign customer, a citizen of another country living abroad, you were gone. And if you were a U.S. citizen living abroad, you were gone because of the risk involved, air quote risk, from a bank perspective or from a regulator's perspective that you pose to the bank. So the banks would routinely go through and just kick them out and then not allow them in. And then, of course, the risk profile changes and they let them in because, oh, it's good for business. And then 10 years later, they kick you out. Banking. Yeah, there's the no ATM fees with Schwab and reimbursing. All right. You guys got a couple extra minutes out of me. Last chance. Any last questions? If not, you have to wait till the next one or ask them on the next video of mine that you watch, or ask them on this one when it posts later. I don't know when the next one's coming out. I used to post on Fridays. I used to do, gosh, it's been so long I remember the routine was Fridays, real estate days, where I did a condo tour or a house tour or something. And Mondays was just like life in Thailand, or it was the other way around. Like I don't even do weekly videos anymore. Definitely getting out of the condo tour stuff. It got to be too much like a job, and honestly, it brought in too many complaints. Like we talked earlier about people fussing about put the price in mine, and then people want to argue when I did a sales video. You can't buy a house in Thailand. You shouldn't buy. Not worth it. So, all right. Seeing no new questions. I appreciate y'all hanging with me so long. If any of you have been here 2 hours and 38 minutes, what are you, crazy? Go to sleep. And for the rest of you, somebody just popped in and a couple people just popped in, popped out. Sorry, you're 2 hours and 40 minutes into this. We're going to hang up now. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.